Hey!
What's up? I just got the notification you were going live.
Hey, at least you got a notification. Most people are telling me they don't get a notification anymore.
I didn't get one from you today when you done your live.
Well, it was probably over by the time you went live. By the time you got it, I was probably done. It was raining and kind of nasty. I mean, there's a few bees out, which surprised me with the rain that they were still zigzagging raindrops to try to get a little syrup in, you know.
They were flying good here today. We was hitting 80, 81 today. I got home. The 2 colonies that I picked up from the property the other day from the beekeeper that passed away, they were a little low on food, so I made some sugar bricks last night and let them dry overnight and put them out there, and they were very active.
80 degrees, you should have just dumped a bucket over on top of them.
Well, I thought about it, but they still got the telescoping lids. I'll have to go in the storage and get a migratory lid out, one of the new ones, and drill a hole in it, put a cap.
Right. Yeah, it's, you know, I have been looking at bee equipment and talking to suppliers till my eyes are rolling back in my head. It's, you know, I found a good place to buy some bee boxes. Are they wax dip? No. But I talked to Larry Gandy today, and, you know, I had already looked at the place before, but even at the quantity I would have to buy to get them here, what I tell you, they ended up being like $12.30 a piece. So it is definitely worth it, but with that being said, it's still like $1,800 that you have to put out there, right? And then you still have the whole frame issue. So it's not cheap. So if you need deep boxes, let me know, because it looks like it's about 150 on a pallet. Yeah, Lee's eye does look better. Mike Tyson doesn't look like Mike Tyson punched him in it today.
It was still swollen up a little bit this morning. I could see it puffy, catch it out of the corner of my eye. I could see it, but it's a lot better now.
And, you know, hey, you know, it is a little bit exciting the last couple days that the swarm lure has been listed on Amazon. I've got it at a little bit of a discount in there. I need to really make some sales on Amazon and get some reviews right before it'll start like really popping up there. So that's what I been working on for the last few days. I got 4 orders on Amazon today, so that's good. Where I think Swarm Commander sold like $560 worth of swarm lure today. So yeah, there's a deficit there. So there's definitely room to move up in the rankings.
Oh yeah, it'll take time to get, like you say, the rankings, get a couple of orders, reviews, and then it'll start showing. But as of right now, I just typed in swarm rustler in Amazon, and it pops up B box and then the swarm rustler.
Yeah, but if you look at theirs is a sponsored ad. They're paying for that ad spot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're gonna get top link.
So that's when you do it by name. Now just search swarm lure and see what happens. See where I'm at. So you got to scroll through frames, boxes, and everything, right? So
actually, it ain't too bad. Type swarm lure. You got this first line, second line, and you're on the third.
But how many of the first one? Oh, hey, I wasn't on the third, so that's actually pretty good. I'm moving up. I'm moving on up.
Moving on up.
That's it. So that's a good thing. It's exciting, to see something working with it. And I've ordered the stuff so I can just ship it into Amazon and let them.
Hey there, Beekeeping Gardening.
And
if I'm not mistaken, you're in UK, correct?
Yes, they're in the UK.
All right, I got something that's notifying me on the screen. Won't let me. Okay, it wouldn't hide in my bar.
Hey, Sharon, it's on there now. So either search it by the name Swarm Rustler. It'll be the first one up at the top. I really need to get some reviews in there, so I'd appreciate it if you guys get it. You could find it in your heart to leave a good review. I'd appreciate it. Matter of fact, for the people that have been ordering, I pretty much recognize all the names, right? So when I see the names that are coming up that are coming from Sharon, that supplier is in Florida. There's one that is close to Tampa, so shipping for you would not be that far. Yeah, I saw Phil on the live this morning too. And
I missed it. I was taking a nap also, so it might have been the other reason I didn't get notification.
And the other box supplier, that one that I'm talking about with you, Sharon, they actually have a spot in Moss Point, Mississippi, which is really close to Mobile, Alabama. So I know Tim and Hannah watch from Gunline sometimes. So the problem is I think you got to order them. I don't know if you have to order them in bulk, but if you went and pick some up, you might get a good deal on it, Oh, blew all your bookmarks out. That's crazy. But, really not as far as my bees. It was raining today. They kind of gave up on the pollen sub. They're finding something natural out there somewhere. And then, they are hitting a little bit of syrup, but so a good deal. Mad Mort, where are you located? I always forget. So their boxes were, I tell you, I've been on with a couple different box places. So the other one, they were wax dipped, unassembled wax dipped. So I don't know how that works out, but he said they do cook them for 5 minutes in the wax. And the shipping from Dover, Florida, or Moss Point, Mississippi, he told me would be $535 to my house, but they were $12.50. Miller Bee Supply, they're north of me, and I'm not sure how much their boxes are when you buy in bulk. So it was like $1,250 for 100 boxes plus $535 shipping.
What kind of wood is that? Select, commercial.
Oh, that's the commercial boxes. Non-dipped, unassembled for 10. Medmore, where did he say where he was from? Deadwood, Phil says.
Ohio. He uses Amish.
Oh, well, I haven't found an Amish in South Carolina.
I don't think you're going to find it in Louisiana either.
And if you don't want wax dip and you want to just paint, I think they're $11. It's pine. And the one that Mr. Gandy's using, they're also pine. Which, believe it or not, I think are the same boxes that I've been buying. But, when I bought the ones already put together, they were just crap. And I haven't called the people in Canada yet. So there could, the thing is the shipping is just so doggone outrageous.
Yeah, it just keeps on going up.
So that's the main thing, is just the price. And you can't just get boxes, right? You got to get boxes and frames. And I still have a couple cases of frames. So it's not like I'm out of frames, but
you always need more.
Always need more.
I'm losing everything, including my mind.
Yeah, so the ones out of South Florida are not wax dip. Those are the ones that I was telling you that were $12 and what did I say? $12.30 a piece. Total to get it to my house is $1,845. Oh yeah, everywhere. Well, see, if you're buying them wholesale and they're $12.30, they got to make a profit, or they don't do them any good to buy them, right? So that's kind of the rub on that. Of course, they're not $26 like Man Lakes. So I now have a bell showing subscribed in the viewing window. 45 euros for cedar. That's about $50, right? Hey, Earl. Brian. So what's going on with your bees? So you were telling me that the lady still had found some bees in a box out there.
Yeah, she had one more box that was there. It had a cinder block on top, and it had some like briars, blackberry bush or whatever kind of grown up around it. And I looked at the entrance real hard, didn't see no activity, and I sat there for a minute. I said, I ain't even going to check that one. I don't see nothing moving. She sent me a video today. There's bees traffic in and out heavy. So I'm going to probably go back over there Friday, pick them up.
That's what I'm calling it now. That'll be the biggest colony out of all of them.
That'll be my luck. She had some more just empty boxes and frames and all that. And I told her I wasn't really worried about them to start with. Well, all she's going to do is burn them, she said. So I said, when I go back over there, I'll go ahead and pick those up. It'll keep you from having to pack them out at the storage and then put them on burn pile. So I'll just grab them. And if I don't use them, I might find somebody else that can use them.
And yeah, I can't even find used equipment right now. So it's, yeah, you can see.
Yeah, I must have used that bad out of there, Phil.
No delivery. Oh, yeah, that's because their place burned down, right? How many of those boxes did you buy from Appalachian, if you don't mind me asking? $12.50 unassembled. Yeah, but Beeline's right there in Ohio, right? So, Wayne, I'll just order them from you. You pick them up and drive them to me, and I'll buy you a steak dinner or something. That's the thing is, that, guys, I swear to you, if I could afford to buy the machine to do the cutting, I would buy it and start selling boxes right here, because there is a need right in this general location where I'm at. Beeline's in Michigan, Washington State, and somewhere else. Yeah, see, so that's nowhere in the Southeast. That's what I'm finding. And if it is the Southeast, it's in Florida. And not only in Florida, like still 8 hours away from me is the closest one.
I don't know who that's a deal for, but not for me.
Assembled painted deeps were $16 each. You had to buy 10,000 of them. Yeah, that's about right. That is about right. Yeah, that's... Well, Sharon, you're only in Savannah. You're only a few hours down from me. So it's if you're doing that, then mine hopefully will be doing that real soon. I know I've got some of them like that.
Yeah, Mr. Paul, I thought you were going to open it that way I could buy it cheap from you.
Y'all just need to go in together and drive over to that place in Moss Point and pick up wax dip boxes there.
Speaking of driving over, I was talking about that extractor and everything for Ed here, son of one. I hadn't even checked the shipping price, but the way things are going, gas would probably be cheaper. And I figure, I mean, Ed, when do you plan on doing extraction? Probably the end of June, beginning of July, something like that. So I'm figuring, I don't know, April, May, maybe. I'll make sure it's definitely before extraction time, but I may just take a road trip and bring that extractor to you.
Mm-hmm.
And we just do a little video while we're there if you'd like.
And who knows, maybe Bob will head over from South Carolina and we'll just meet at Ed's place.
I looked it up earlier. I don't forget how many miles it was, but it looked like a 6-hour trip one way.
And mine was, what, 6.5 hours? I think we were talking about 6 hours and 45 minutes.
7 hours. But
so,
heck, road trips are always fun. Get out and see other people.
Usually, what I like to do on long road trips is I'll leave like at midnight when there's very little traffic, where you can blaze down the road, right? And I have to go through Atlanta. That's probably where the extra hour is right there. So it is kind of crazy. So, well, it's a little bit early, but you want to go ahead and drop it.
We can do that. We can do that. Let me do one thing first. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure tomorrow. Yeah. We do have a birthday tomorrow, and that would be Sawmill Charlie. Gonna have a birthday.
Charlie's tomorrow. I'm sure he'll be showing up.
And Charlie, I don't know if it's come in the mail yet or not, but if not, just keep an eye on your mail. You got something coming.
We got so the guy in the guy in Moss Point, he has two locations. One's in Moss Point, one is in Dover, Florida. So I'll give you the guy's number. His name is Charlie, or Charles, and his number, I'll just type it in the chat. I don't mind doxing him.
Charlie, I was going to say your age, but I'd leave that up to you if you want that.
And Brad, he runs he works at a lumber mill. So he's got the luxury of doing that. So you want me to drop it?
Yeah, you can do that.
All right. Here we go. Drop that and pin it over here. Yeah, I talked to Larry a good while today too. So
which Larry? Gandy?
Yeah. Yeah, making the rabbit joints, that's usually what I would do when I was making my nukes. Just rabbit join it up. And then glue and staple, right? So we dropped the link, and looking forward to some stimulating conversation this evening.
Check your phone there too, Bob.
My phone? Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wait, you told me you weren't coming tonight.
We got our first victim.
Yeah, the lecture I was supposed to work at got canceled.
Oh, okay. Well, you doing all right?
Oh yeah, we're fine. Not really certain exactly what happened there. I think one of the lecturers got sick.
Ooh, a little light.
Just kind of worked out that way. So I was pretty happy because I was actually looking forward to seeing you guys tonight.
Well, we were looking forward to seeing you as well, Michael.
Why is it scrolling?
Well, your new mic sounds good, Tom.
Looking a lot better. It's too bad you're not.
Howdy.
Look at this, man. We got 6 right out the gate. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, how's my volume?
Very loud.
Loud.
Yeah, very loud.
Loud, but sounds clear compared to the last one.
It does. And your Your video is clearer than it was last time.
Yeah, it's strolling a little bit. I have to fix that.
But it looks good. You're looking
So,
dapper.
Charlie,
I'm alive.
Charlie, what are you going to do for your birthday?
I
Go
don't
out dancing.
did that Saturday or Friday or Sunday night. Thanks to everybody for wishing me a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Charlie.
Yeah.
Happy
What's that?
birthday.
You guys doing anything interesting? Well, you guys are all on lockdown. Snow, and Tom, you don't have snow, do you?
I'm getting feedback from somebody, man.
Mike,
I don't
check.
hear it.
It's Mike, I think.
I'm not hearing any
Oh,
feedback
really?
on my end.
I am.
I don't think I am.
I've got everything turned off here. Let me
Now
try and
you
mute and
sound
see what
good.
happens.
It sounds good to me here.
Yeah, it sounds good to me too.
My fault.
Thanks, Casey.
So Wayne, you got snow right now or no?
No.
Tom, no
No, it
snow.
was 61 and sunny today.
But you guys are probably expecting another snowfall before the end of the season, right?
Oh, we should be like 40 degrees and freezing with snow. But we're having a weird winter. We
Ours
had a
is
blizzard like,
last year this time, right?
well, no, just a few weeks ago. But then it's gone.
And
Tom, where are you? I forgot.
I'm in South Texas.
Ohio.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think our low last night was 67. Our low tonight's going to be 65. Yeah,
That's
we,
it, huh? Only 2
we,
degrees.
we got
wrong.
up to 81 today.
Same
Oh,
here,
well.
Lee. It was warm today, man. I saw one bee bring in pollen today. One.
I've seen quite a bit bringing in a little bit of light yellow pollen.
Yeah, it's still real dry down here, but they're finding it somewhere. So
I'm
about that.
I'm
Wow.
56 degrees right now. So
Mine's a little bit more.
Yeah, 47.
Man,
Great. Great.
and
what's up,
tomorrow's
Lewis?
supposed to be warmer than today. Let's see what the 10-day says.
I'll check on that and get back to you.
Yeah, I think we got a little more rain coming the end of this week, but I needed to dry up.
Give you a call in the morning.
Yeah, Clueless. I've been keeping a check on the weather here too, man. It looks like we're gonna be okay for a bit.
Here comes James.
I've got 75 Thursday, 64 on Friday, and 68 tomorrow.
I need this rain to stop though so that I can cut a little grass on the back end of my property down by the canal.
Uh-oh.
That, and I still need to get over to my number 3 yard because that's the one I'm going to shut down this year and bring everything back to the home yard. And it has to drive for me to drive in there.
Is that the one that's kind of back in the woods?
Nah, that's number 4. Number 3 is the one that's in the backyard of the house. Got a big pond there. But it's got all the leather wood around.
We're going to load it up tonight.
Hey guys,
Hey,
Hey,
Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Bobby, there's nobody behind me.
James keeps trying.
Yeah, his video's not connecting for some reason tonight. So have you priced your patties yet? I've been waiting.
No, I did get them in a refrigerator though, so they are secure and they are
So no
not
rush
going
now.
anywhere.
Good. So anything interesting?
Yes, I am Clueless. Well, I'm from there, but I don't live there anymore.
Anybody got anything interesting? Hey, there's Phil. Hey, Phil.
Clueless beekeeping. If you're talking about Northwest U.S., DC's up in Washington State.
Oh.
Dang.
Who'd
Flower
we lose
Street's
now?
Flower Street's getting 6 to 10 inches.
Hey there, Farmana.
Man,
We're supposed to have 60 degrees on Thursday here in Ohio. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Second
getting
that, Tim.
you're
We had
getting
61 today.
you're getting some of that bipolar weather that we get, and where it goes warm and then it gets cold again, then it gets warm, and then it gets cold. Wonder if James's stream's gonna fix there.
He put a comment over in private chat, said he's trying.
He'll get it figured out.
It just takes a while for that signal to come across that north border.
Yeah, he's at customs right now. His signal's at customs.
He's got a frozen signal.
Hey, we got Fred and Barney tonight.
Yeah, it's good to see Phil again. He hadn't been here in a while.
Didn't miss any. Good to have him back.
Bipolar vortex.
Got an order, Bob.
Lisa.
The bipolar vortex.
Right. Make up his damn mind, right?
Let me see.
Thanks, Vincent.
I need to turn my phone down.
Get that one.
Turn the phone
How your
down.
bees doing over there, Tom?
Mine are doing good. I lost one little nuke last week or something. I checked them today.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm 100% so far. I was out there today. The girls were all flying on every single hive.
I got a call last October, first week of October, or like the 10th, on a little 3-frame swarm. And I took it, treated it, and then like a week later, we had a freeze.
You killed it
So,
off.
It didn't make it. No big deal.
Didn't get a chance to get established.
Yeah. So,
Well, see, that's that bipolar weather you got going on.
yeah.
Oh,
I was surprised it lasted this long.
Can you make it? Oh, you made it.
we
I
had
like
a
that.
Jane sighting.
I like Brian's
Jane
comment.
sighting.
there.
Unicorn sighting.
You guys are out here all chatting, and I'm here with Buddy Allen. We're busy building boxes.
I like that big old stack of boxes behind him.
We figured your signal got stopped at the border. Your signal was blocked at the border.
Yeah, Customs finally let him out.
Bugman, what's up?
Hey, James.
How many boxes you building?
Happy birthday, Charlie.
Hey, thank you.
What are you,
How many-
29?
Do what?
One more time. 129.
129 exactly.
Keep on keeping on. Doing a good job. They look nice.
I'm breaking up out here in the. I can say I'm breaking up out here in the woodshed. I'm going to finish building these boxes, and then I'll head to the house and join you guys.
How many boxes you building?
There's your buddy.
About 200 of them.
So you got 80 something, what, 70 something more?
Hey, James, who was that you
Almost
got
there.
behind you there? They tried to peek in. Tell them they got to come on and wave.
That's his wife. His wife was showing there.
Hey,
Brad.
peek around the corner.
He said he'll come back on when he gets to the house. He's trying to do
Thanks,
it from the
Steve.
wood shop. Brad, how's it going?
Good. Happy birthday, Charlie.
Thank you, Brad.
Hey, Brad, you're doing a good job keeping that cold weather up there.
That's actually not very cold. Minus 11 right now.
Oh, man.
Minus 11. It's a heat wave.
Nice. Well, I mean, that's sea and it's Canada, so
That's
Right.
it's actually pretty warm.
12.2 Fahrenheit.
12.
12.2.
Hey, he's not in the single digits. So that's a good thing.
That's good.
No, it's actually kind of nice. Got to go outside today with just my T-shirt for a few minutes.
It's like
T-shirt,
James.
shorts, and
I'm wearing t-shirts. T-shirt.
That was James down in Tennessee wearing Crocs and shorts and short sleeve shirt. Well, no, not exactly. I'm just picking on him. But he said, "Man, this is really nice." And everybody else has hoodies on and winter jackets and snow boots. You know, no snow, but snow boots.
All right. Aren't you all guys up north supposed to get some more weather, though, too, this week?
There might snow Monday here in Maryland, but nothing really
Okay.
to even talk about.
Nothing major.
No. Okay.
No,
That's-
you know, I don't think it's. I
Hopefully
think
it
it's
starts
going to be
slowing
more rain than anything else.
You
Yeah.
mean your bees aren't out getting pollen and bringing in syrup? Oh, that's only down here for us guys?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, I seen one of my bees laying on a tractor yesterday, and I asked her what the heck she was doing out there on the tractor. But you know,
That's like, hey, you should have took a picture. You could have had like a tractor pinup calendar going with bees on your tractor.
it was just one.
Photoshop a little cowboy hat on her.
Play this. She thinks my tractor's sexy, huh?
Yep.
Double line over it.
So are you guys feeding like fondant or pollen or anything right now? Just leaving them be? What's going on?
Yes, I am. I'm feeding pollen. I have an open feeder out in the yard and the sugar board on.
Yeah, but it's like 90 degrees where you're at.
I know I should. Yeah, but there's no pollen. There's no substitute though. There's no food.
Right.
Nothing.
Well, all right. My question to that is, and Brad, you can kind of come in on this. The bees go out before winter and they pack in pollen. So don't they have enough pollen in their boxes to get through the winter without you supplementing them?
If you're asking me,
Or anybody, I mean, what's their thought on that?
well, around here, there's really not much going on for pollen in, even September, October for sure. So there's really not much, and that's part of our very defined seasons here is the fact that they really don't brood a lot in the winter. They're almost completely broodless. Charlie, I'll tell you a little experience I had. And for the first few years of beekeeping, I was afraid to do it. And one year I thought, okay, I'm just going to break down and tie into one of these hives in, I don't know if it was probably middle of October or so. Usually too cold to do that. But I thought I'm going to look in this thing. And I looked in that colony and I looked at every frame in that hive. And it left me shaking in my boots because it was the strangest looking thing. Because there were 10 frames completely covered in capped syrup, both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It was the craziest looking thing. And I said that to Ian that night. I said, that scared the crap out of me. And he said, yeah, it scares the crap out of me too, because it's so foreign. It's completely opposite to what we normally look in a colony. We want to see, look at the pollen, look at the honey and the brood and the eggs and larvae and pupa. That because that's the hallmark of a healthy hive. It was just like a honey super with a bunch of bees. And I'm thinking this colony has to last for 5 months.
All right, so you're saying is there's no brood. All you got is bees on top of a bunch of honey supers, and that's it.
In my case.
In your case. But I mean,
but where you're at, Shirley, you don't go completely broodless, right? You think you just get a small.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I expect to see a small patch of brood, say the second week of February.
Well,
and by March, the end of March, it'll be doing pretty darn good. But what I'm saying is like Brad's in September, he's totally in winter. Well, we're not. September, I'm feeding into October. Well, by the 15th of October, I should be done. And
that's not unlike us though, Charlie.
And then we do have goldenrod in September, October, and they're bringing the pollen. There's not a flow. There's a pollen coming in, and I have pollen frames. They're storing pollen, and what I've learned is the pollen does get old in there, and they want fresh pollen. They like it's just like any type of food source, I guess. But I'm looking at if you give them supplemental pollen through the wintertime, let's say when they can fly, are they going to ignore the natural pollen in the hive, not really utilize that? Is it?
I believe like here, they don't go broodless, right? I would say they don't go broodless at all year here. So
we don't.
And if the pattern that I see with my pollen feeder is the same inside of the colony, then they will consume all of the natural pollen they have first. And then the stored pollen of the dry pollen that I put out would be the last one that they go to, right? So since they're brooding and don't have any coming in, so I imagine they're eating the natural pollen first and then going on to the pollen sub.
I don't know. The other thing I found was I used to do the bucket feeder and used to put the Man Lake pollen powder out, and I found my hives starting to get pollen bound, and And then I'd have a bunch of pollen
Hey, Ed.
frames that are, to me, I won't say they're worthless. I'll just say they weren't being utilized. It's like, yes, we want pollen. We'll go out and get the fresh stuff when springtime comes, and we completely ignore the
but
stored pollen.
wouldn't that be a great frame to put in a maybe a nuke
Cell builder?
or a
That's
cell
new
builder?
cell
or
builder. I mean, they'd have to.
I've
almost
I put them in there in the
A
cell
split?
builders where I'm going to say the pollen was more on the fresh side, and they utilized it quite extensively.
But
And
like here,
it actually got more utilized when I took and shaved those shoulders off of that cell builder frame to where the nectar and the pollen was closer, so they seemed to be able to access it easier and better. And that's
Right.
what I noticed last year.
but like here, we'll start getting that red maple in, so they'll start bringing in the pollen, and then all of a sudden you have like a little dry spell. So I mean, whatever is in the hive, whether it's new or old, I find here they kind of utilize all of it.
It's
rearing the brood.
Yeah, it's very evident here when you have the natural pollen that they will shut off immediately on the pollen feeder. It's
Now,
just-
Saturday when I went and picked those bees up, the second hive I checked, pulling 2 frames out of it. I mean, it was almost solid pollen stuffed in there. It was all light yellow and it looked pretty fresh. So that's probably all the red maple that they've been bringing in.
Yeah, I think down your way, you're well, I guess really in your area, you're not really blooming year round down there either.
We're not really blooming year round, but for the most part, they got something to kind of pull in a little here, a little there.
That's what I was going to ask, Lee. In your area, do you have like a pollen source all year?
Almost all year.
Okay.
We
All right.
might have a little dearth for a couple of weeks of that.
Okay.
We kind of
Yes.
naturally have something constant.
Yeah. See, like
Yeah,
I
the other thing
admire
that-
like where all you guys live because you guys all have good pollen flow. We don't.
Yeah, you're a lot drier in your area.
So bad here right now. Yeah.
Well, I'm
It's
gonna tell you,
horrible.
if you put a pollen feeder out, Rich, if they hit it, there's nothing out there. But if they don't
Yeah.
hit it, there's something. You just don't know what it is or where it's
Yeah.
at.
Yeah, I have one out right now, and they're hitting it on the warm days.
Okay. Maybe I'll get some pollen out.
I thought about putting some out today because I have 2 pollen feeders right out the back of my home yard here, just to see if they would hit it. But I think I was going to wait till tomorrow, have a little more time because I was getting ready for the live. But I'll get home tomorrow, put a little bit of pollen sub in each one of those, and then check it the following day, see if they in there when I get home.
And it'll it's going to be an interesting year for sure. With the way things are shaking out right now in my yard. I mean, I've only got 2 of my nukes, my 5-frame nukes that I brought into winter that are still like having bees go in and out of them. So some of them are just, they had food and just,
Yeah. Hey, Clueless, no, they're not, dude. I saw very little pollen coming in today, man. Very little, dude. It's so droughty where I am, man. Like some of the watersheds here where I'm at, dude, are bone dry, dude. Bone dry. I put a short on my video on my channel today of how low Medina Lake is. Dude, look how low the water level is. It's at 6%. It's so low, dude.
I watched that video. I mean, it looks like a
Big bathtub ring.
Normally when it's, I guess, full, it's like a huge lake.
Oh yeah,
Nothing-
people like
and
water skiing it, jet ski, fish. It's a recreational lake, but when it's low like this, nope.
Well,
I wonder what
when you
I
ski,
wonder what
when you
Travis Lake
pan,
looks like.
when you
Ask-
pan that film to the left
Yeah.
on top of that building, looked like to me a completely dry all the way up through that leg up in that area there.
Yep, some areas are completely dry. I'll go out and do a video tomorrow in my area, and I'll show where the lake's dried up completely. It's ridiculous, and that's the one thing that Texas needs. A part of Texas's geology is flooding, right? Every part of America has a certain type of geology. You guys got good weather up north. You're getting good rain, good wet snow this year. You're gonna have nice pollen this year. But down here in Texas, all the weather, that wet weather you guys are getting, we're not. It is dry, cold air all year for us.
I always thought that Texas and as a whole was a kind of a dry desert state.
It's turning arid. It really
I
is,
think
Charlie.
especially the southwestern.
Yeah,
South
like you
Central and Southwest,
Yep.
pretty dry.
Yep.
out
And I'm
around
kind of
Big
like,
Bend.
yeah, I'm kind of like right on that cusp of southwest, and it's dry out here where I live.
Yeah, like Hope Sadler's saying their maple will come in blooming about a month early. Ours was probably about 3 weeks early this year. Usually it's the second to third week of January we start getting it pretty good, but we was in December getting it.
Mine haven't popped open yet, but they're there,
Ours
The
are
buds
budding
are-
already.
Yeah, and it's typically first week of March or right at the beginning of March.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're in Ohio. We're about the same latitude or whatever it is.
And
I've been told that the freeze will take care of those buds and they'll rebud.
I think
maples can handle the cold weather.
I think Hope is probably an hour or so east of me, I think.
Clueless, once I see the Algerita start blooming, I'll know we're going to kick in. But I went out today and looked at them, and there's little buds on them right now. The little heads are about to pop on them. We just need a good
Brad
rain.
says we got months and months and months.
Who said that?
Brad, that up there.
Oh.
Yeah, by the time you get to Lubbock, you're eating dust. Right, Hill Hives? Yeah. Yep.
But then
Sarah said they made it to 54 today.
Algerita, Clueless. Algerita bush.
Well, once it starts up there, it's kind of like Mike and Brad there. Once the winter stops and it starts. Oh, you're in Rock Hill. You're an hour north of me then. Hour north of me. I'm right outside of Columbia. And, once the season starts, it pretty much goes hard and heavy until it doesn't go anymore, right? And then it's time for fall, winter again.
Check them out, Clueless. They're all over Texas, man. They're native. You'll find them in like real rocky, limestoney, kind of acidic soil. They thrive in it, man. They love it. I got them all over my yard. They're little yellow flowers, man.
And Matt wasn't on here earlier when I said it. He's saying they made it to 36 today. Hey, Matt, we were at 81 today.
Really?
Yeah, we were at 70 today. So it won't be long for us, and then you'll get to see our struggles and then learn not to make our mistakes by the time y'all's season starts up. I saw Bob do that. I'm not going to do that one. So
I say we'll be pulling honey whenever Canada starts
going.
Yeah,
we'll be pulling honey whenever Canada starts bringing in nectar. Huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Almost.
Yeah, Clueless.
You're muted, Tim.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad, when does your season start up there?
May, I think.
Sorry, I'll bring my bees out of my building in usually late March, and we won't get we get some tree pollen starting in April sometime. We don't get any nectar until late May, early June, but that's not much of a flow. It's just mostly dandelion. But July is our month. It comes in like a freight train in July.
So you have about a 1 month flow?
Yeah, it really depends on where you are. My flow is longer. My flow will be 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So July, August. I've had slow flow right into mid to late September, but that's a little bit unusual. Ian's flow for the most part is done early August, but the honey comes flying into those supers so fast it nearly knocked them right off the stack. It's just incredible. Like he'll be at two or three boxes at a time, and then come back in 3 days and add some more.
So Ian's flow is, let's say 5, maybe 6 weeks long at the very most.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, most of it's in early to mid July is most of it.
Yeah.
How long are the days up there in the summer, Brad? Like when you guys have
how long?
Yeah,
that's one of our advantages. The days are very long. It's almost always day. It'll be, I think the sun goes down. Well, it gets dark maybe about 10 o'clock in the evening, and then it'll be light again by 4 in the morning. So there's not much dark in the middle of around solstice.
So you literally wake up to bees flying and go to sleep with bees flying.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really tough. I find it really tough to get up early enough to move my bees before they start flying. I'm literally getting out of bed at 4 o'clock the day I want to move bees.
Wow, that's crazy. Look at the advantage and the disadvantage. You live way up north. It's crazy to think how we talk about microclimates, but you're way up north and you're getting what 18, 19 hours a daytime in the summer, and your bees are just kicking ass.
Like for probably 2 to 3 weeks around solstice, if I were to stay up all night, I could see the glow in the sky all the way around the north horizon, and then the sun comes up again.
So will
it never really gets black.
Will the bees fly that long then if they could still see, or will they?
No, they don't really fly that late, but they do fly longer than they would in a more southerly area.
Okay.
The farthest south I've been is Key West, Florida, and that was right around what would be your Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
And it just astounded me how early it got dark.
Yeah.
I was enjoying myself at my campsite, and 7 o'clock the lights went out, and it was like, holy crap, what happened there?
Brad, I'm surprised if you went to Key West. I'm surprised that you went to Key West and then burst into flames.
I know, right?
We had to leave. We had to leave. We were 3 days were there, and we said, we're leaving. We can't take this anymore.
Too damn hot. We got to go.
It was. Well, it's Memorial Day weekend. It's not like it's, the cool season. It was really hot.
I was about to say, I'll be in Key West in October. We're taking another cruise down there and then over to Bahamas.
What cruise are you taking, Lee?
I don't know. I'd have to ask my niece. She's the one that scheduled everything.
Oh, rad, dude. Right on.
There's a whole bunch of my niece, her husband, 3 kids, me, my old lady, 2 of the kids, my mom, my sister, brother-in-law. There's a whole family outing.
Sounds like fun.
But like Brad,
don't you have the opposite during the winter time? It's probably dark time.
What was that?
Rich.
That was
Rich.
Some of his craziness.
Yeah, like Brad said, their flow's going up there July and August. By middle of July, we're pretty much in a dearth then until probably about late September, and then we start getting the goldenrod in.
That's your first to hit out of winter, Lee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually,
makes sense with those moderate temperatures.
Yeah, I was about to say probably by the end of June, our flow's just about done with the tallow.
You're getting more moderate temperatures earlier in the season, and then your temperatures get hotter, as the season goes, and it's just that ours maxes out in July because it doesn't really get very hot here, not as a rule and for extended periods. It can get, well, for Canadians, it's hot.
I'd say July and August here. I mean, it's nothing for us to hit 104, 107, something like that.
And I've got a gap right in the middle of it, right? Dearth, right in the middle of honey flow in there. So, yeah, we've got that. You got to really watch it, because if you don't pull your boxes off on time, I don't have tallow near me, so I don't have that heavy flow. If I don't pull it off during the dearth, the bees will consume it. So it's
Yeah, that happens to me later in the season. That happened to me last August. I had a family commitment, and I was taken away for a week, and it was exactly the wrong timing, and they ended up eating quite a bit of my honey. That was part of what made my crop come up short last year. Yeah, a hot day here in the summer is like 85 F.
Oh yeah, that's
really hot.
That's a nice spring day here.
Yeah. I mean, we have
that humidity there in South Carolina. That is nasty.
85 with no humidity is nice, but with humidity, forget it.
Yeah,
it's not that high. It's high, but like it's humid, but it's not crazy high humidity.
As like we'll get 104 Fahrenheit plus humidity, so we might be 112, 115 sometimes.
I've been down in Georgia when I was in the military, man, in that kind of heat, and it's the worst heat.
Yeah.
Like you walk outside and you want to go back inside.
Well, even with the vented bee jacket on, right, Guardian?
Yeah.
It's
still warm.
I think about the hottest Humidex I remember is about 110 F for Humidex here. So yeah, Canadians melt about 85 F.
Yeah, it's That's what I was saying. I was surprised you didn't burst into flames and get all sunburnt and bad. At least at Key West, there's a wind. Usually they have a breeze down there, but
I don't think Brad would last down here in Texas.
No, I've been to Dallas once, and it was actually funny. It was end of June, so it was fairly hot time. I was in Dallas, and we were staying at a hotel. A couple of friends and I went down, and in the evening we were outside in the pool that the hotel had, and there was only a couple of us there, and there was this guy we didn't know, so we started visiting with him, and he. We said, so, where are you from around here? And he said, no, I'm from Houston. And we said, well, so you're up here for business? He said, no, I just come up here to get away from the heat, he says. and we're just melting. It's 105 in Dallas, and he's getting away from the heat. And we thought, oh, my God.
Yeah, it's
Houston must be like, the gates of hell or something as far as temperature goes.
Well,
I could imagine it.
To give you an idea, our heating and air conditioning unit that we have here it's a heat pump, and a heat pump is only going to basically change the temperature by about 20 degrees over the ambient temperature outside. So if it's 100 outside, it's 80 inside. So it gets.
Believe it or not, my house is heated and cooled with a heat pump.
Oh, really?
You betcha.
But you have wood burning stove too, probably.
Your heat pump is air to air.
Yeah.
Mine's ground to air.
Okay.
My heat comes out of the ground in the middle of the winter. It comes out of 8 feet down the ground out in the yard.
So it's a little bit. So you get that ambient temperature of 70 degrees.
You got a ground loop in there.
Ground loop, right, exactly. Yeah, it runs about 4. Middle of winter runs about 4 C out there underground, and the heat pump just brings that up to 24. It can bring it up to 24 degrees.
Yeah, tallow is invasive in some states, though, man. I'm watching your guys' chat.
Yeah,
be careful where you plant tallow seeds, man.
Sharon in DC was asking about it. It's considered an invasive species, so they're wanting to try to actually eradicate it here in Louisiana. Let a Chinese beetle loose, but everybody's kind of fighting over it.
Yeah, I think the American Bee Federation and everybody else is fighting the hell out of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
The thing of it is, it's
down here. We're not going to have much honey.
Yeah, well, tallow's been in the country since the 1700s. So what's the problem?
Yeah.
Well, then what they'll do is they'll release a beetle that they don't have any idea what else it's going to kill, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Fighting another beetle in our hives.
Yeah, they're gonna introduce another invasive species into the environment, just have it kind of decimate everything.
What was it? The Japanese carp or something that they released? Now they're like it's taken over.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the pigs here in Texas. Same thing, man. Brought them in from Spanish.
Maybe then they'll release some toads like Australia to kill the bugs. What could go on?
Oh man!
Then they got toads everywhere.
Oh, what a mess!
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, tallow does make good honey.
Now I ain't gonna lie, it's supposed to be an invasive species, but the year before I started keeping bees, I cut down some trees that were grown up in my fence on the back fence line. I didn't realize until after I got bees that was tallow trees that I cut down. So some of the seeds from the tallow in my front yard, whenever they started producing seeds at the end of the season, I took those seeds back in the backyard and replanted them.
Yeah.
There you go.
A few extra.
Fix it.
Might as well. Let me fix that real quick.
And kudzu makes good honey.
Surprised ain't nothing but kudzu down there.
Kudzu makes great honey.
If they'll work it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've actually tasted some fall honey, and it's tasted like I called it grape Skittles, but then I heard Bob Benny call it grape knee-high, right?
Yeah, knee-high, that's what it was.
But it's just makes it taste like a grape candy.
Yeah, Tim, we like the privet around here. It's a real light colored honey, almost, clear, but to me, it just crystallizes really fast, but I still like it. Now, if I had the choice between the tallow, privet, or goldenrod, I still like the goldenrod. I like that dark, strong tasting honey.
No.
Then you got your buckwheat.
As for like Renee, she likes the privet. It's real light and really sweet.
Walker Bee Ranch. Who Who running show?
We usually only get goldenrod about once every 5-7 years. It's usually gets too dry. It puts out pollen, but not much nectar.
Yeah. Well, the year before last, we didn't really have any goldenrod. I think 1 or 2 plants in my yard and 1 in the neighbor's yard. Now this past year we had a little more goldenrod. We done pretty good.
Well, we get the plants, we get fields of it, but it's just all pollen.
Yeah. Well, it's like last year, even our privet, I mean, it produced good. I got a lot of early spring honey with that. This year, the privet bloomed out, but we didn't have enough rain for it to produce a lot of nectar.
Right.
You're talking about privet gun line? It makes great honey,
Yeah.
but people anglers aggravating. Okay.
I forgot we were on your channel night. I always put you in the top on the first place.
No, first place. No matter. Matter of fact, Brad, next week when Ian's going to be on, we're going to be on Lee's channel. So if you're not subscribed to Lee's channel, make sure you're subscribed over there.
Okay, 10-4, thanks.
Yep.
10-4, big buddy.
And we'll make sure that's going on. So next week it's James, Brad, and Ian Stepler will all be on at the same time. So
I just dropped that link in the comments for anybody that ain't on that yet.
And
trying to move screens around.
I think goldenrod, privet, and buckwheat are the darkest honeys that I've seen.
Which one's that?
They were talking in the chat about dark honey. So, but I mean, buckwheat is the darkest one I've seen.
Yeah, it's all like burnt motor oil.
Yeah,
I like it.
Tastes good though.
It's rich,
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it, to be honest.
The bees will eat
Personally,
it.
I don't know. I just like that stronger taste. Which is like at the farmer's market, sometimes I keep my honey separated in buckets. So I got light honey and I got dark honey. Because some people at the market, they prefer the sweeter stuff. Some like the stronger.
Well,
I try to tell people it's not strong to make it sound bad. I tell them it's a bold flavor.
Well, when the honey is so dark you can't see through it with a light behind it, that's dark honey.
Yeah.
It's Brad, you
looks
guys
like
get
what came out of the oil change pan on my diesel truck is what it looks like.
Yep, exactly.
And
Do you guys get buckwheat
tastes
up
like
there?
what come off of the floor of the pig barn is what it tastes like.
It
Bees
it tastes like the oil that missed the oil pan, right?
Yeah, we get a little bit of production here in Manitoba. I've tasted it just often enough to know I don't like it.
Randy
My
said he
wife
got
likes it.
60. Randy got 60 pounds of goldenrod last year.
That's good.
That's a lot, man.
Well, 60 pounds of goldenrod, but he's got like a metric ton of beehives out there too. I think he's got a few hundred of them, right? Yeah, Grammy says they taste like sweaty gym shorts.
Grammy was talking about the privet. That's the other thing. Whenever the privet starts seeding out, I'll collect those seeds, and I've been trying to plant those along my fence line too, in the wood line in the back.
Now I haven't separated mimosa honey, but I've got like a bunch of mimosa trees in my backyard, so maybe that's something I'll try this year. I'm just usually not enough on my game to catch the different flows at different times.
We have a lot of fall ester, and that tastes like stinky feet honey.
Stinky feet honey. That's kind of like goldenrod tastes or smells like that too.
Goldenrod's okay. It's the ester.
Yeah, I was about to say they're usually blooming about the same time. So some people kind of say that it's the goldenrod, but for the most part, the real stinky part is the ester. Or
Yeah,
aster.
ester is stinky. I have fields of it in my area. I leave that for the bees.
Then hit things like cantaloupe, cucumber. That's awesome. When you have people around that have like garden and stuff, then your bees are hitting on their gardens and bringing all that good stuff back, man.
Just depends on what they're growing.
Yeah.
You know what, though? We can hope that, we got more people in the waiting room than we have room to put them on the screen.
Let me bounce out because I got work to do tomorrow, so I'm getting tired anyway. So I'll go ahead and hop out so you guys can bring more people in, man.
Yeah,
All right, Rich, we'll talk.
I'm going to do the same.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
getting tired,
I can
man.
hop out.
Yeah, we'll let you guys. Run
I'll
the
be
stream,
watching
man.
next week.
All right.
Let's let
Happy
some more people
birthday
get in here,
again,
man. For
Charlie.
sure.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, man. You all be safe. Good night, guys.
Who we got down in
Good
the bottom down there? Kylie is sitting back there with her blue lights on. I couldn't see on my screen who it was.
I
Hey,
can't
Kylie.
even really see her.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so I haven't been on top of my game. I just call it all wildflower honey and let it go, you know?
That's pretty much. I mean, I try to pull my privet early. That way I got some that's just real light and sweet. And then tallow. Sometimes I'll pull it. Sometimes I'll wait till the goldenrod hits and just let those two mix together.
Well, look at this. This first time I've seen someone up. Where'd it go? We had someone. There it is. Sorry. It's just scrolling up. New Zealand in the house.
Hey,
first time I've seen some from New Zealand. You guys are in the heat of your honey flowing all over there. Matter of fact, I saw a video from Hive that their flow hive is full and they're harvesting honey out of it.
Okay.
So,
hey Kylie, that other hive that I didn't open up the other day that had the cinder block on top,
Yeah.
it has bees in that box. I got to go back Friday and pick that up.
You do? Oh.
Yeah.
So you can take another sting.
Yeah, Kylie was my camera person the other day for the most part. Now she had to go to truck to get something, so the lady that owned the property, she become a camera woman for a minute.
Well, so James isn't in here right now, but when do you guys start prepping? Like, if right here everybody's starting to say, well, packages and queen cells will be available March 1st or the first week of March. So you got to work backwards, right? So from March 1st, that's about 6 weeks from now. Isn't that when you would start looking for your drone cells and all of that? I mean, that's about the time frame, right? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody know?
Well, we'll kind of start trying to do splits here, usually around the middle of February for the most part. Now, sometimes they'll be the end, just depending if we get that late cold snap.
We're going to do, let's say, queens around the 1st of May. I mean, some guys say around the 15th of April, but seems like there's always cold weather here, cold nights. So I don't think you're going to, if you're going to do in-house stuff, it's going to be in May.
Well, here,
late April, depending on the weather.
Cutix is saying first week in March they're going to have queen cells. So you got to have the drones and all before it's even makes sense to get any queen cells, right? So that, which is actually later than I did my splits last year. So I was kind of going to wait until that point, since they're just east of me, figuring on that should be the time, right? If that's when they're doing it and they're getting their queens mated, then that should be about the time that we have. All right, so Bobby's saying middle of March for Virginia.
To do what with queen or
well, just
or what?
To start making sure you've got enough drones, right? I've got some drone frames out there, but
even if it's awfully early for Virginia, but maybe not.
And so that's just trying to do the backward math, right? So if they're selling it, then you need to make sure that your drones are going to be old enough to mate, mature enough to mate by the time that those queen cells are hatching out and getting ready to go out on their flights, right? So if it's first week, by the second week, middle of March, then they have to be ready to go. There's at that point, right? So you need to have your splits done and all that stuff.
Now, Hive said grafting end of April. Now, O'Neill's apiary, it's probably about halfway between me and Mr. Paul. And usually, depending where you are on the pickup list for nukes, you can start picking up nukes probably the second week of March.
But that's their overwintered nukes, right? With last year's queens.
They're overwintered. That they'll be, well, some of them they'll pull splits on. They'll just drop a queen in.
So Larry's saying they start in late February, but for sure the second week of March, they're ready to go in Mississippi. So,
I'm a month later.
So that's the
at least a month.
That's where I'm at right now, right? Trying to figure that out and making sure that everything's ready to go by
I've got
then.
3 packages myself coming on March 18th.
Where now you're getting your packages from the guy you got your other bees from?
Yes.
How much does he charge you for packages over nukes?
He gives me a special price because I'm his mentor, or he's my mentor. So he's charging $155 for the packages.
Okay.
And the queens are already self-fertilized. So.
Well, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, obviously, you know the bees that he's dealing with, so I have never bought a package. I've only you have.
No,
Lee?
I had bought a package. I've only bought
a bunch of bees in a box.
Well, Lee, if you want to buy some of his bees, he says he's willing to sell some of his hives for $350 a piece.
I got enough at the moment. I still got to go pick up more this weekend.
A lot.
He's got about 900 that he's willing to sell.
Ooh, no, too many.
Yeah.
On the top end, I'm probably only wanting 100 to 150 at my highest point whenever I finally reach that. I don't think I would want any more than that doing it by myself.
Yeah, I'm trying to just not buy any more bees and split them myself, right? Make my own bees.
Yeah. I've bought 8 nukes the past 2 years. I bought 8 in 2020 and 8 in 2021. And I'm hoping that's all I'll be buying. Now, I ain't going to say completely. I would probably say every 2, 3, maybe 4 years, get 1 or 2 nukes per yard just to bring in some different genetics or something fresh.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did last year. So the first few years, I didn't bring any new ones in. And then last year, I brought some in. So, yeah, so I don't know what this year, I'm going to try to do it on my own, but who knows? You never know. If I get a good deal like I did last year, maybe I'd do it again. But even that one that was really booming and made all the honey, that's probably one of my worst looking colonies right now. And who knows why? They're just not very big. But they're carniolans, and I've never had carniolans. So a lot of people are saying those are, that's normal, so I don't know.
Kylie down there is trying to break me before I make it. She's trying to get me to buy a $22,500 honey straw machine.
There's not that many honey straws in the world. You could run enough 1 year and never have to make honey straws again.
Yeah. I thought $1,600 was bad.
Bobby's Bee said his most, he says my most was 35 colonies. So that means he probably went over. Yeah, that's my thing. I often start too early too. So I'm trying to wait a little bit longer.
Said he wants 20 hives. And how many was he running last year?
He's got over 100. But matter of fact, he's bringing me some nukes this year. So that's that'll be my genetic change this year.
So Bob, you're talking about carnies. That's pretty much what we run up here in the north. It's carnies or carney strains. They seem to winter nicely and build nicely in the spring.
Well, my Italians are blowing up right now, but my carnies are definitely much, much smaller than my Italians at the moment.
That's exactly what they do. They winter in smaller clusters.
Yep.
And then they just explode when it starts warming up.
Yeah, they build pretty fast. You'll think they're kind of lazy or they're behind or whatever, but then they'll perk right up.
That's what I was wondering about the 2 colonies that I picked up last Saturday from the old lady's house. They're kind of smaller. One box, it only had 8 frames and it was missing 2 frames. So the 2 wild combs that they drew in there, that's pretty much all they was covering, maybe a half of another one. And same thing with the other box. They drew wild comb and was just covering a little bit. So I don't know if they carnies or may have a little carny in them, or if they just happen to be a weak Italian hive or anything like that.
I've wintered clusters of carnies with a new queen no bigger than a baseball. Little tiny cluster in my building.
They were a little bit bigger than that, but they wasn't very big compared to what I'm used to with the Italians.
Well, Matter of fact, Steve was talking about getting some Russian queens this year, some Russian bees, and I've thought about getting some of those as well. So we'll see. I mean, they can't be any meaner than my bees already, right? So
I've always heard. I mean,
you know,
I was about to say I've always heard Russian were a little bit more aggressive, but I also heard they ain't quite as bad as some people make them out to be. I don't know.
Right.
I've never had them.
They're kind of like the carnies. They winter in small clusters also, and they shut down if there's no nectar coming in, and which is really a good trait, you would think, you know. But I'd had them a couple of times, and I'm used to more of a Italian characteristics, and I think that's, you know, you have to understand, you have to get used to them and understand them better. Now I've got like a Italian carny combination of.
Oh, so Mr. Larry's got a Russians down there.
Yeah, the only thing I've ever had is the Italians that I buy from my local apiary. Now, I mean, the couple of wild feral swarms that I've caught, I couldn't tell you what they are.
They're just.
The old mutts I bought, he said they had Russian in them. Them things tear you up.
Wayne says he's getting 6 Russian colonies. They make
Carnies
10.
are usually pretty gentle. You know, that's why I'm wandering around in a t-shirt and shorts out my apiary.
Now, as long as I have a nectar flow, I can go out there with just my veil on. I've been out there without my veil, and they're fine. Yeah. But if I don't have a nectar flow, you better suit up here. They gonna get you.
One almost got me.
Yeah, Callie thought one got her the other day. She like went throwing her hand around. She said, "I think it got me." I said, "Does it burn?" She's like, "I don't know."
No, you'll know.
I said, "You'll know if it got you."
The one that I got from, or you know, when Ricky came down and we were going through that colony, that was a carny colony, and they were not happy that day with me anyway. Everybody else standing around was just looking at me, getting zapped and stung and crotch stung up, and
you were getting ate up that day. I don't know, that day and the couple previous days you were out there, they were after you pretty good.
Yeah, so I don't know. They just didn't like me going in there and messing around with their stores at all.
Tim said he wouldn't never buy another nuke, just the packages.
Or queens, yeah. Well, he's got enough bees now, right? So I have enough bees technically that as long as I can produce queens, I should be able to make my own bees.
You just stick a package in a nuke and they take off. As long as they don't re-queen.
Or take off into the tree.
Well, no, the queen's in a cage.
No, I just heard that some packages like to leave the box you drop them in. I don't know that to be the fact because like I said, I've never ran one.
They can.
I've never had
to do that.
My mentor said if you put grass in the hole in the front of the hive, it takes them about a day to realize. So by then the queen is stabilized inside the hive.
And well, you're having surgery tomorrow, Chris?
Yeah.
What time?
12 o'clock.
But that means at the VA, you're not doing it at the VA, are you?
Yeah, I'm doing it at the VA.
So that means you got to be there probably 6:30 in the morning.
11.
11. Well, that's not bad. Usually they make you get there way early.
Yeah, I already did all the pre-ops today.
All right. Well, we'll definitely be thinking about you tomorrow for sure, and keep you in our prayers for that. Are they just putting in a stent, or what are they doing?
No, I'm getting an ablation. They're going to go into the heart and cauterize the electric issue that I'm having in there. It's causing my heart to stay at about 125 beats a minute. So I basically got on the treadmill all the time.
Well, you should be losing weight then.
That's what I told them. It ain't working.
I need me a little of that issue to burn some calories. Yep, faster. So I got you on the list of calls if I don't make it. To come get your bees.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I got. I told Renee, if something happens to me, call this number and then this number and see who wants them first.
And
I got a list of each one of my yards, the owners, the names, the addresses, everything.
Hey, you should put me on that
list.
list.
Chickens too.
Yeah, we're definitely hoping for the best for you for sure. I don't want to come get no bees under that circumstance.
Yeah, you don't need bees that bad.
No.
Have to tell them their owner passed.
Yeah, don't want to have to do that.
And
which the one
he's got experience.
The one that I had to go pick up the other day for the guy that had passed away, his wife was telling me, and when she told me, I remembered about 4 or 5 years ago, we had a guy in the Baton Rouge area. The guy owned a tree cutting business, like a tree trimming service. A couple of years ago, they had a guy that was up in a tree trimming some stuff out and didn't realize there was a beehive in it. And when they got on him, he got stung over 500 times. Ended up in critical care in the hospital for multiple days. Anyway, that was the guy that I went and got the bees from. That wasn't when he passed away, though. But
that lady's super nice.
He ended up having COVID, and a day after he got home from the hospital from COVID, it threw a blood clot.
Yep.
And he passed.
What happened here? Well, this is interesting.
Well, thank you there, William.
This is making me crazy. I got the computer over here. Let's see. And is Charlie asleep on us over there?
Nope.
He's thinking about his birthday party.
Yeah, are you doing anything on your birthday party?
Not that I know of. No.
Well, he's already had his birthday party.
Hey, Kylie, I don't know if you see that comment down there Miss Sharon put. Nope. Y'all have the same birthday. No.
We do?
No, I
No,
forgot.
we don't.
No,
Mine's on the 28th.
Yeah, yours is 28th. My daughter, Lizzie, is on the 19th.
Lizzie's on the 19th.
Yeah.
Well, we was talking about nukes and packages, James. If you got any experience with them, hop on.
He might have a little experience with bees, huh? He only pulls what 3,800 pounds of honey last year, so
only
it was awful.
Everybody knows that statistic.
Yeah, I bought one package to try it, and I just put them in a nuke, and they took off. But they didn't make it through the winter.
So, Spanky, did you shake them in, or you just let them go in the nice way?
I shook them in, and then I put the box where it leaned up onto the nuke for the stragglers in there.
Yeah,
I did. Flying everywhere, pooping.
Yeah, I do it the nice way. I just take out 5 frames out of the 10-frame hive, and I just lower the box in there. It's a little less stressful on them.
Well, I mean, they're already stressed out being in that box.
I've seen some of them, like you say, Chris, just set them down in there, let them naturally come out. I've seen some of them turn the box upside down and just set it on top of the frames for, say, an hour and let them come out.
Right. Who's got that device that sits on front of the hive where you can just place it on there and they just go in from the front once you get the queen out? I forget who sells that. I've seen that on one of the videos. Like an angle piece that fits right over the entrance of the hive.
I know what you're talking about. It looks like a big old scoop on the front of the hive, the entrance.
Yeah, that looks like it's pretty simple too.
He's out of Georgia. I just can't think of his name right now. Barnyard Bees.
Is that who uses it?
Yeah.
Well, David, ain't it? Ain't that his name?
David. His name is David.
What, James checked out again?
He just left a comment up here.
He's building boxes.
Did Charlie go to sleep?
Charlie is head on the keyboard.
Charlie probably wants to go get popcorn.
Get his popcorn.
You seen the stack of boxes in James's
yeah, we got James back
shed. There he is.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, hello, sir.
Good evening.
All right, so I went and checked this green frame. All they had done to it is make some burr comb.
That's
basically That's it. So I scraped the burr comb off and put it back in.
Now, was that frame you said waxed already?
I waxed it.
Okay.
I waxed it. So
they were still making funny comb on it, huh?
Yep. So we'll see.
That's a clear sign they don't care about your plans.
That must be those American bees.
Yeah.
You know,
or Chinese plastic.
Yeah. You know how you make a good plan for the bee yard, right? You come up with all these good plans. This is what you're going to do to the bee yard. And then when you get to the bee yard, the bees have a different idea, and you throw your plans out the window and you do what the bees want to do.
That's true.
That sounds like a lot of work. Just burn them in your house before you ever leave.
Right. It's so we were talking a little bit about, and this is something that, because of the way you do things, how do you time from your queen introduction backwards to your putting in the green frame and all of that stuff? How are you timing that out?
You work it the other way. You're talking about the drones?
Yeah, so that you want to make sure you have drones in time for your split and putting your queen cell in.
So there's a couple things you've got to think about there. So one, where I'm at up here. So I'm not going to have any good weather for the queens to start flying until probably, I'm going to say, end of middle to the end of April, beginning of May. Right. But if I just bring the bees out and by the time they get brooding and stuff like that, they won't be starting to lay drone comb or drones up until probably that time. Is that roughly what you see, Brad?
Well, I've never done what you're proposing to put that drone frame in, but just kind of leaving them to their own. I don't usually see drones walking around much before early May. And I wouldn't, like, my instruction that I've been given is you need to see walking drones in order to graft. So
right, so using the drone frame and the hive heaters, if I know I'm not going to have any flight until, let's say, let's use the 1st of April, for example, right? You can plan your time to crank these things up. The drones are going to take about 28 days, plus a few days to mature and stuff like that after that. So you can go back pretty much a month and start to crank the heat up on those hive heaters, feeding the pollen patties and the sugar water, get that queen stimulated, because she's going to lay up those regular frames first. So, right off the bat, now you're talking middle of March, right? So February, middle of March, you're cranking that heat up to get them going, so that you've got queens hatching for, I'm going to say, the last week of April, first week of May, and their mating flights will happen, basically a week, 12 days after that, right?
All right. So
yeah, there's a lot of ifs in there for your weather.
Absolutely, it's all weather dependent. But
if you get the weather for it, that plan should work great.
Right, and that's the wild card that I can't control. I can control everything but the weather.
Yeah, so that's our local queen breeder here is talking about first week in March they're going to have queen cells. So, which leaves me right now at the middle of January is 6 weeks, right? So
their season's a whole lot different down there than ours, right?
Right. So that's where I'm trying to time out when I should be looking for drones to appropriately go and buy queen cells.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, you're not using a hive heater or anything though, right?
No.
So I mean, and I don't know, what have you got for, you don't, this was the first drone comb that you put in, so you don't have anything like that, right?
Right, other than what naturally they would produce, right? Yeah.
Right. So then you're at the mercy of when you see drones walking around inside your hive.
Okay. And not just a few drones, a bunch of drones. So
you're gonna want to see drones walking around in there. You're gonna want to see drones brood, capped brood in there, more drones ready to hatch. And because it's kind of at the mercy of the natural cycle, if you will, you can only assume that the other beekeepers in your area are going to be roughly about the same
time frame.
Exactly. So
yeah, best thing you can do is whenever you see either the drone cells, larvae, capped, or a drone in your actual box, write that down on a calendar.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be different every year, though. It's going to be completely dependent on weather.
Well, yeah, but if you see the cap brood, you can estimate when they'll be ready to mate.
Oh, okay.
If you see one
you're talking
roaming around,
Yeah,
you
for
can
that.
estimate.
That
Because he's
particular.
going in bind, he's not raising his own at the beginning queen cells.
Yeah, not
So
the
he
first
wants
round.
to make sure his drones are ready.
Okay, I misunderstood what you were saying. I thought you were going to say write it on your calendar so it'll be the same next year, and it won't.
No.
In Ohio, it's pretty consistent. We can get within probably 3 or 4 days every year on about the whole season.
Perfect. You're much different than we have up here. Hey, I got a question for everybody out here. How do you make? I've never made any. How do you make whipped honey butter?
Well, that's a good idea.
I'm not sure. Would have to ask Miss Ruth that one.
Yeah,
Or-
I don't know.
Or flour.
I think
straight,
just buy
right?
butter, put honey, and whip it.
Is that what Ricky was handing out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With little jars of honey butter.
Okay, so
It was good too.
I have to find that out because my wife has let me know that she needs more of that.
It's awesome, right?
See, mine, she won't eat the honey butter. She'll eat butter by itself on something, or she'll eat honey, but she don't like the honey butter together.
So
And
if
I love
anybody anybody knows
I'd
exactly
some of
what
that,
Rick,
James, I don't know what they're making, but I've just whipped up 50-50 butter and creamed honey.
got her, and that would be unsalted butter, I take it.
No, I don't.
sweet butter?
It's regular salted butter.
Okay. I just like I said, I have to find out because
Yeah, you'll have to contact Ricky on that one.
You throw some cinnamon in that, it makes it extra special.
there you go. Well, I got some cinnamon in some of my creamed honey, except the cinnamon all floated to the top, so I have to figure out how to keep that cinnamon suspended in the
Did the honey get warm?
It didn't, no.
Okay.
But I used saffron cinnamon, so it's a little bit
It could be the type of
finer of
cinnamon.
powder. So
That's because it's from India. They had to move to the top.
Hey, James, I just sent Ricky a text. See if he answers me.
oh, perfect. Thanks, Tom.
So usually he comes in. We haven't seen him tonight though.
Here's a good question for y'all. How long did it take y'all, any of the beekeepers, to get to the point of no jackets or anything? I guess that's
Oh,
no
I
bee suit.
started without a jacket, and then they tore me up a bunch of times, and I quit that.
Yeah, that's what
Go put
happened
the
to me.
jacket on, huh?
I started with no jacket and then ended up putting it back on too. So
7 years for me.
I
haven't
typically
taken my
only
jacket
wear a
off.
veil just so I don't get stung in the eye like Lee did.
Yeah, I started, I ain't gonna lie, with a full bee suit from head to toe, and I learned real quick that was way too hot.
Too hot.
So I got the Guardian jacket, and I liked that. And then I guess once the nectar flow kicked in, I could tell they were calming down. They were preoccupied with their business. So I went out there and tried it one day. I figure 2 or 3 months, and I was out there with no jacket. But then I learned, hey, when the nectar starts falling off, put something on.
So I learned two things. You guys seen my last video down with the bug?
right.
So I learned two things. One, southern bees sting feels just as bad as a northern bee sting. So that's the first thing I learned. Two, the southern bees, they aren't laid back.
They mean.
And three, I wish I had a jacket.
Yeah.
Usually during actual bee season, whether it's swarm season or just any time during our regular season, I keep one jacket in the car at all times, and a swarm trap just in case somebody calls me and I got to stop by and get something out of a tree. I got a box there. I got my jacket, everything.
I got a nice brand spanking Ultra Breeze jacket on its way, so I'm interested to see how that turns out.
But they got a vest that is an AC vest that you put underneath your bee suit.
And
especially for us down here in the South.
I know Darren.
That's some AC.
I know Darren, Jerome Bee Farm. He got like the ice vest that you put the little ice packs in the freezer, and then whenever you put it on, you put the little packs in there, and you put that under your bee suit to stay cool.
Well, first rule of beekeeping: fat men sweat. So I know when I lean over, it doesn't matter if it's 70 degrees outside. When I lean over, I'm getting drips inside of my glasses when I'm looking down at brood frames and everything else. So.
Glasses in the summer are the worst, man.
I look down and it's like my veil, the sweat will drip through the little cracks and it just like fills it up and you got to reach up there and slap your veil to get the sweat out of it.
Yeah.
Well, I have a little case of RA and I try to teach my girls to sting me in my joints.
If my hands get cramped up, I'll go out there and wave my hand in front of the hive every now and then.
Yeah, that definitely works.
It does help.
Yeah, good deal. I do the same.
I thought I'd just open an apitherapy clinic. Just put a tent over the mean beehive, right? And like a like one of those suntan booths, the spray tan booths. Put it up over the colony and just invite people to come stand in it. Get zapped. There's one recipe for whipped honey cinnamon butter. Let me see. But you didn't share it.
Yeah, about that. I don't see a link.
Oh, he may not be able to share a link.
Oh, he's letting know there is a recipe. You gotta pay.
Every time I click on those links, I get booted out of the chat. So.
Well, what I found on them links, instead of just clicking on it, if you right click on it and then tell it open in a new window,
that's right.
You'll open a separate window and keep your.
Then you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm on an iPad.
Yep, there it is.
Your left click, it's just click.
Well, I got 3 screens here, so I'll open one up and throw it on another screen and pull something up.
Yeah, you guys are talking about when working the bees with no jackets. Usually after I've got a swarm into until they get up to 5 frames, I'll work them with no coat at all. After they get to 5 frames, they start getting a little more protective of the hive, and that's when I got to put the coat back on.
Well, I even went out there last year. My number 1 hive last year, the year before, I pulled 5 supers off of it. Last year, I pulled 8 supers, or it filled up 8 supers. And as long as the nectar's still flowing, I can go out there, throw honey robber on the top, and steal their boxes from them. They don't care as long as there's still nectar coming in. But once that stops, you better suit up.
I like the cowboy hat with the veil on it, with the straps under the arm. I'd prefer to wear that, but unfortunately they're all made in China, so they don't last very long. And I find I'm buying more and more of those, but I prefer that in the summertime.
Larry got a good
the
point
Man Lake
there.
Clearview veil.
Man Lake Clearview, the king of veil.
I love that veil. It is comfortable. I take the straps off though. I don't like nothing under my arms tied down.
Yeah.
My bees always seem to find their way up and underneath it anyway.
I get one every now and then.
Yeah,
and they really hate my beard. Like when it was big, they would just.
It's probably. Would you agree, Lee? It's probably one of the most well ventilated veils, or the most airy veil that you'll get. You don't with the fencing veil. You feel all closed in and it gets hot.
Yeah, that's what I got on my my Guardian suits. I got the fencing veil. Now that Man Lake Clearview veil, I wanted it last year, but I went on Man Lake and they were sold out.
Same here.
It said click this link to be put on the list to be notified when it's in stock. It took like 4 or 5 months for that to come back in stock.
I called Mike in the summer. I said, Mike, I want this veil. He's kind of my Man Lake guy, can bring stuff in, and he said okay. And it took 6 months to come in, and it came in right at the end of the season.
Yep.
And I had to wait all winter to try it out.
I was driving home from work when I got the email saying it was in stock. I pulled over and ordered it right then to make sure I could hurry up and get it. I said, I'm not even waiting until I get home. I'm ordering now.
And get this, by the time I got it in hand, I paid nearly $100 for that veil.
Hey, I got the recipe for the butter honey.
No,
Oh,
I'm going to say I paid like $59, $59.95 for mine.
Yeah, yeah.
You paid $100 Canadian. That's like $3.99.
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
Well, if it's $60 US, $60 US,
And
it's
it
80
still rolls.
Canadian, and then they're shipping and import.
Yeah,
tax and everything.
ask Mr. Paul Hill down there about buying those veils. He bought a couple at Hive Life, and he thought he could compress them all and fit them in the car.
Uh-oh.
They come in a big box, and they don't compress.
Yeah, no, you don't want to bend that.
You must have had some silly looks wearing that veil driving home. Hey, you got that recipe, Tom?
Yes, I do.
Are you going to share it?
Oh, let me pull. Yeah. So it's 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, 1 cup of honey, ½ cup of sugar. Heat the stove until sugar melts into the honey.
Yeah.
Okay, with a kitchen aid, mix 2 sticks of butter. Then he said, slowly add your mixture from the stove. Add your vanilla 1 teaspoon. Mix until thick. And it all depends on how thick your honey is at the beginning. And if you need to thicken up a little bit, put some powdered sugar in it.
James is pretty much like silicon when it comes out.
Tim's asked, does anybody have the weighted veils instead of the elastic bands?
So Ricky's building me a hive right now. It's going to have my motto, sharing the spirit of the bees. Ruth is working on my logo that I sent to her. So I've been emailing back and forth pretty much lately.
I never heard of a weighted veil.
I hadn't either.
Don't know what that is.
Yeah, the one I got, the Clearview, it comes with just a string that you can put under your arms and tie back around. But like I said, I just took that off.
Yeah, that's what I have, Lee.
So James's honey is kind of as thick as like Type Bond 3.
Type Bond 3, that's like water. Type Bond original, maybe.
Yeah, it is pretty thick.
That's good stuff.
It is great stuff. Matter of fact, that's not enough honey on that spoon right now.
My spring honey's thin, but my summer honey gets pretty thick.
That's amazing honey.
Yeah, they tested that at the Hive Life, and I think they said 12%. I think is what they said it was.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah, that's thick. Now I just poured a bucket in my bottler earlier. When I pulled it, it was 19%. And I mean, it was completely capped, but it was showing 19 to 19.5%. So I put a heating band on a 5-gallon bucket and covered it with a towel. Left it on there for a day and a half, and it helped evaporate that moisture off down to about 16 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That's where mine usually comes out, about 16.5.
Mine's usually about 17.5.
So, but it's
capped.
And it's amazing how everybody's got different shades of honey from all over the place.
Oh yeah.
We were just talking about the motor oil grade, 30 weight buckwheat honey earlier. And now we got the crystal clear
50 weight.
Yep. Hey, this is awesome. This is really good honey. Where can they order this, James? Can they order some of your honey?
Well, I mean, anybody can. I'd be happy to ship honey to anybody.
If I pull in June, it comes out this color. If I wait just till July, it's more this shade. Just 1 month difference.
Yep.
Yep.
Gotta love that different nectar source.
Oh yeah. Let me see.
One of these is crystallized. It's a little privet and probably got a little bit of tallow in it, but it's normally light. And then just my goldenrod. I mean, it's dark. But my goldenrod, you can tell it
Yeah.
don't crystallize. It stays liquid.
See, Bob, what we were talking about earlier today? That's it's spring honey.
Privet solid.
And Charlie, you said most of yours is from an aspen tree, right?
Locust.
A locust. Okay, there you go.
Locust and a poplar type tree.
My honey is a lot like this. Of course, you can't see it.
It's yours is invisible there.
Yeah.
Brad.
So
There
it's
you
a lot
go.
like that. Now that's whiskey, but the honey is very similar color.
I'm like, he drinks his honey on the rocks.
I got honey on the rocks.
It ain't on the rocks, but I'm drinking
a little disappointed there, Lee. I didn't get any of those shots at Hive Life.
You should have reminded me. You coming next year?
You're too busy doing beekeeper stuff.
Imagine that.
Hey, Phil come in with his net on.
I'll give you next.
I've got some of those too. I like those too. I mean, for a quick keep them out of your face.
Well, there's a very, very good chance I'll be down there again next year.
And Brad, we'll have to get Brad to come down too.
Yeah, come pick me up, James.
There you go.
Stranger things have happened.
Take the road trip.
Yeah, we're staying on the highway this time. No airports.
What is y'all's favorite honey?
Favorite flavor of honey?
I don't know if I have a favorite flavor of honey. I just like honey, period. And,
I like all of it, but I just prefer the darker stuff.
I was going to say, especially after coming down to the Hive Life, you know what? There's so many different types and flavors, and I mean, it's endless combination up there. And I kind of like to mix it up. You know?
Yeah, I like that veil right there in the summertime when it's hot.
If I had my picking, I'd probably pick an amber color, something in between.
If I went amber, kind of in between our light and dark, that would be our tallow then.
It seems the lighter honey seems to be a little bit sweeter here.
Yeah,
same deal.
Mm-hmm.
That'd probably be good for you, Bob. You're a little sour from time to time.
I know. I get spicy.
I'm just going to put you on hold. I'll be right back.
So I can't qualify, because I've tasted very many nectar sources. A lot of the nectar sources you guys have in the south, I haven't tasted, but of all the nectar sources I have tasted, I must say that my honey is my favorite.
We're going to start a Go Honey account for Brad, where everybody in the States sends him a bottle of honey. He'll have 50.
I definitely want to taste those.
50 different.
That's why
bottles.
he needs to come to Hive Life next year, huh?
Yeah.
We can all give him a bottle in person.
Well, I'll bring a few with me.
This is the stuff that I got out of a cutout this year, and it's not really that dark or light,
but it's probably good honey.
Yeah, I got it from when I got out of the cutout. It was a 10-foot long cutout, and it's in the middle of the woods near a bunch of gum trees, and so sweet gum trees. This stuff is amazing. I've never tasted honey as good as that stuff, and it is a real like a citrusy flavor to it when you first taste it, but the aftertaste comes in and still tastes like a raisin.
Oh, okay. My boss bought some honey from me, and he said there's no comparison to the store honey at all that he used to get. He's like, I can't buy the store honey anymore. So now there's another branch in Myrtle Beach, and the manager's calling my boss to order honey to get sent down to him. So it's like, okay, well, that's good news, but they're just not used to that real honey, I guess, what you could call it, or non-pasteurized honey.
Well, around here, 99% of the honey is canola nectar. So that's what people think of as honey. And my challenge is just to find customers, because generally, if I have a customer taste my honey,
Yeah, why won't it
then
come
I have a
back?
customer locked in, because it's not canola honey. It doesn't taste anything like canola honey. It's absolutely just delicious.
Right. But to get them to try it, right? That's the whole thing.
That's the trick.
Well, that's why you do that buckwheat. It'll look so different. They'll have to try it.
Put it up against buckwheat, and then they'll say anything tastes good.
Yeah, use the buckwheat as the palate cleanser, right? Here,
Yeah, right.
You've tried the one from the store. Now try this dark one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nasty. Okay, now taste mine. Oh, that's delicious. And yep, only 2,500 Canadian a pound.
Yeah,
that was for James, and he's probably laughing in the background over there.
So, Brad, what does canola honey? Can you describe what canola tastes like? The normal stuff.
I don't know if I can describe it. It doesn't. It's not a bad tasting honey. It's a good honey. Oh,
is it real sweet, or is it just kind of average?
Yeah, no, it's pretty sweet, and it's a light amber honey. And the thing about canola honey is it seems to have an aftertaste, but an acidic finish that catches you in the back of the throat, and it'll often make you cough.
Oh yeah, okay.
And you've seen Ian do that on his videos. Actually, he'll take some canola honey and then he'll cough. Whereas my honey doesn't do that. It's a clover and wildflower, and it's more mild that way.
Yeah, that's more of what I got, a clover wildflower in the spring.
And it's variable. My two main yards are 3 miles apart, and the honey will be slightly different in those yards. Year to year, it'll depend on if it's a wet year, a dry year, the honey will be different. So it's more of I would say it's like wine, it has to do with what year it was produced and what yard it was produced, and it'll be a distinct honey, not wildly distinct, but definitely I can tell. I can look at a jar of honey, and often I can tell you what year and what yard that honey came from in my production, just by the color.
Right. Lee assigns lot numbers to all of his honey.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can look at the lot number, pull it up on my computer. I can tell you what yard it come from, what hive it come from, what date, and what time I pulled it.
Yeah. Since I only pull once, I don't distinguish hives because that would be a logistical difficulty for me with that many boxes. But I can tell you year and yard.
Yeah. That's what I'm probably going to end up going to eventually, just year and yard.
Well, how do you distinguish by a hive are you only extracting that honey from that hive at that one time?
Well, I got a 20 frame extractor, so generally if I'm pulling 2 boxes at a time off of one hive, I know which hive it come from, and whenever I put that bucket on there, I just write on a little piece of paper until I print a label off my thermal label printer.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then but depending on what time of year, I got 3 different color lids too. I got white lids, yellow lids, and orange lids for my buckets. All my buckets are red, but that lets me know if it's spring honey, summer honey, or fall honey.
Wow.
Paul says he does the same thing. He says I'm quite anal as well, Lee. By the hive.
Yep.
Well, James, you say I gave you. What did you think of my honey that you when you tasted it?
I like it. It's good. It's got a very distinct taste to it. So,
is it like sweet or is it sweeter than what you usually have?
I don't know. I'll have to go test it again. I mean,
I've tested it when it first comes right out of the extractor, and to me, it's because when it's so fresh coming out that the sugar content is extremely high, and it just to me it's like, man, it is super sweet. It's like cotton candy coming out there to me. But
so
I don't name them, but I do only wear one brand. Darn tough.
Yeah, they're all left feet though.
Now the I kind of off topic, but darn tough socks. I ain't gonna lie, for the short ones, I only wear ankle socks, but you pay like $18 for one pair.
Yep.
But they're a lifetime warranty. If you get a hole in them, anything, you send them back, you get a brand new pair.
Nice. American made, I assume. Yeah. I found a company in Canada makes socks, so I buy them from there now.
Yeah,
It's pretty unusual to find domestic textiles.
Yeah, they're made in Vermont, but it's a merino wool.
You see, I go the other way. I go down to Costco every 6 months and buy like 2 big packages of those socks. And every 6 months I throw them all out because by that time they're not the same color. And then when I have all the same socks, it doesn't matter what 2 I grab out of the drawer. I always got a pair.
I used to do that.
That's how I am.
But I
absolutely do
decided
that.
just to try the darn pair one time, and when I put them on, I mean, you can get them where they're padded, thin, depending if you get hiking socks, regular walking socks, or whatever. And they were so comfortable. That's all I buy now.
While we're talking about apparel, I'll plug one of my favorite outlets is the Duluth Trading Company. I don't know that all of their products are American made, but I think vast majority is, if not all. And I really like their products. That plaid jacket you see me wear all the time in my videos, that's a Duluth product. I love that jacket.
From Minnesota.
Oh, could be Wisconsin.
That is true. There is a Duluth, Wisconsin.
It's a border town.
Yeah, that's why I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, William, they wear out fast. Steering wheel rubs them off.
Only crane operators buy $18 socks.
It sounds expensive, but with a lifetime warranty, they're really cheap. You think about it.
But see, if you got to mail all your socks in, then you're sockless in the meanwhile.
Nah, that's why you buy multiple pairs.
It's called rotation.
Rotation.
Or you find the sock gnome.
Right.
Next, we'll be talking about beekeeping in bare feet.
Socks.
Not all of us have the Flintstone feet now. We can't just go out there.
I say Fred ain't in here.
Yeah, he is.
Now, see Fred down there. He might need some of them socks because I'm sure he wears them out pretty quick with all that peddling.
You guys are wrong.
I can't believe we're taking clothing advice from Brad. You see what he wears in the summer?
Yeah. Well, tread carefully.
He won't smell in socks.
See, we talk about love everything here, don't we?
I don't know
how you
melon
can do
balance.
it,
They're not like melon socks.
You see Brad, right? He's like, who the hell wants to mail in socks? You'd have to double bag them from the odors, and then send it in.
My only concern is if they don't make it.
So whose job is it to open that package in the sock store?
Right.
Your job is to receive all of the sock returns. It's
You
like, say what?
You'd probably have to print a shipping label saying for disposal only.
Do you have to, so Lee, do you write on the outside of the package how many socks are in the package? So they don't actually open it, they just send you more socks.
No, actually, you go on the website and you click warranty, and then you tell it, you give it the information, and it gives you like a shipping ticket to print out, and you put inside the package.
Yeah,
the
shipping address is just
what
the
happens if the
municipal
package
landfill,
doesn't
right?
make it
They
to
send you socks.
That I'm not
It's
sure.
like, who would take that job? I'm here to apply for the job of the guy that opens the packages with the old used socks. Oh,
He's probably the highest paid guy at the system.
He'd have to be.
Brad giving me a little more heck on that Nikot.
But it leaves the Nikot in for the whole year. At least there was no queen in it.
Who left the Nikot system in for a year?
Yeah, I was looking for part 2.
I didn't put the queen in it though, but yeah, it's still in
part
there
1.
since like last year. That it's still sitting in the hive right now. Now
Don't
I had to
worry,
pick on Brad the
house
other
is
day.
sealed.
Brad done his video talking about he hadn't been through his hives in a while, had a couple dead outs. I said, heck, you getting kind of like me, just not getting in your hives no more.
They probably propolized the plug. Everything's propolized in.
They're just making sure it's nice and sealed up tight.
I'm making sure it gets that good bee smell on it before I put it out there, or put the queen in it. Make sure it's ready.
That's the Charlie sleep check.
Charlie sleeping again.
I have to blow him up to make sure he's still awake on us.
I gotta ask Charlie a question. Charlie, did you catch that video I sent you?
Yeah, I wanted to tell you, I seen that planer video, and
Okay.
actually we had something similar to that, not quite as many flat belts, and we had this old
shady bunch.
4-headed planer that it was square headed, is what I'm saying. and we had a line shaft going. We built on a wooden frame, and and had a line shaft. It had like multiple V-belt pulleys running all the different heads and whatever.
We run this with a 60 horse tractor minimum for that unit.
Yeah, we had an Alice Chalmers WD-45 with a belt drive on the side from the 50s or whatever, and we had a
feeding
great
that as a kid. We ran a McCormick Super WD-9 with about 30 feet of endless belt that ran right beside my leg.
That's about right. There you go.
I got a lot of
try to get that
scars off
darn
of that
tractor
belt.
just so it would line up, and then put a twist in the belt and all that stuff. And now
those are the days, eh?
Yeah. So then we finally come across the planer we still have today. It's electric and everything, and it came off of a shipyard and stuff. So we still use it. It's a 30-inch planer.
This one was built in 1919.
Yeah, that sounds about like that one big monster we used to have. We found it in some old guy's junkyard. Got it going. Had Babbitt bearings and.
Have a good night.
Yeah, we'll see you. And they have a little square box there, and had that. I don't know. I guess it's wicking
like
material
or something in there.
Yeah, cotton. You poured half a quart oil in there.
Yeah, that sounds like it might be the same unit, same kind of thing.
Anyway. Yeah, something similar to it. It wasn't quite what you all had, but.
Well, here's a quick little story. I think this is one of the funny stories about that. Granddad bought that in 1936. It was being disposed of out of a industrial lumber mill in 1936. So he was a pretty crafty fella, and he had a couple of automatic oilers off of, I think, Minneapolis tractor. And so he mounted those automatic oilers up on top of the planer and made a little eccentric shaft down to the feed roller so that it would just continuously go as the machine ran, and then he had copper tube from everyone all these bearings, right? So in 1936 he was buying rolls and rolls of copper tube from the store in town and putting on his planer. So you can probably tell what the rest of the story is.
Yeah.
Cold winter day in January, the RCMP comes knocking at Grandpa's door. Mr. Hogg, understand you've been buying a lot of copper tube. What you been doing with it? So the story is that he made the RCMP wade through waist-deep snow to go and show him what he was doing. And that's exactly what Grandpa would do. You want to see? I'll show you. Let's go.
So did he have a sawmill, or just had that planer, or what?
It was a sawmill.
Yeah. Well, he ran a planer. The neighbor.
This is only half the copper tubing.
Yeah, exactly. Neighbor ran a sawmill later on. Neighbor, actually, you know what? One of the coolest things I think as an older person is when I grew up in a community among log drivers. The old guys in my community that I grew up around were log drivers, and I think that's really cool. And one of them later on in the 1950s, he had his own sawmill then. And my dad actually worked for him, and he became sawyer on that sawmill. And that sawmill now sits at the same museum where the planer is, like 50 feet away. So we actually go and operate them both every summer.
Yeah, when like James, you're winking there. Sawmill and moonshining kind of went together down here. That was there was always accidents around the sawmill. That's where they got to drinking too darn much.
Yeah.
And everything. Of course, remember that's when they had steam engines, running the mills, and they kind of used the boiler for a few other things, in the summer.
Steamer wasn't really there for the sawmill.
I was about to say, that'd be like beekeeping and moonshine, and you buying all that sugar, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always, you get that look at when you're at Walmart, when I was getting it from there. Now,
as long as you don't stop on the way home by the feed store and pick up all the corn too.
Or you go into a Piggly Wiggly, it sells rye on one side and got sugar on the other.
That's like down there where Ricky Rourke lives. My father's side of the family, they live on the other side of the mountain down there from Ricky. And we went down there. I was a kid, and what the heck was that?
What is that?
I don't know.
Firing up the sawmill.
that's Spanky's sawmill sound effects.
Ain't me. I don't know what that was.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, they were going up to see the family graveyard, which was up in the middle of the pasture field up on the side of the mountain. And we went through this old cabin that was our first settlers that came in the area, and said, my father's uncle said, well, we're not going to go through that door. We're going to go through this door because I hear the stills in there, you know. So there's some still whiskey making heritage in my family, quite a bit of it and everything. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's that our place is still there. It's just, you know, everybody's passed away since then. But anyway, but we got into, you know, everybody asked me how we got in the sawmill business. I said, well, when you come out of the South down here in the hills, you either moonshiner or sawmilling or
both.
Moving on down the line.
Sarah said she got busted buying the sugar the other day.
I'm glad I, knock on wood, I haven't had to buy bag sugar in a while. So.
Well, for me, I don't know. I always got aggravated with Walmart because they never have 25s in there. You know, I want 25 pounders, and
they have 25 pounds in there. They don't want to lift that.
Wow.
You know, and I want a lot of it. And
Walmart's got 45 pounders on the shelf.
Really?
Yeah.
We only got 25
not around
now.
here. You'll get. They'll seem to have 25-pound bags of sugar after the season when I need it. So.
Yeah.
Like I'll go online and say, hey, I want 10 25-pound bags of sugar from Walmart, and they'll say, okay, charge me for it. But when I get there, they might have 8 pounds, and then it turns around and gives me a credit back.
Wow.
Well, you know what they did? I wanted 300 pounds, and what did they have? They had 10-pound bags. So what the heck is this crap? So
the Walmart, the Costco's around here do good business. Did I say Walmart? It's Costco.
Costco. Yeah, they're pretty good.
45 pounds.
Yeah, they'll have
mine too at
and
Costco.
Most of the beekeepers get their sugar from Costco, and like I'm not even that big a beekeeper, and I'll roll in and load up 180 45-pound bags on my trailer. So, you know, you just arrange it with them, and yeah, sure, come on Tuesday, and away you go.
I just go down on Saturday to the Domino factory and have them pump sucrose into buckets.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Now, our local Walmart, it was $11.98 for a 25-pound bag. Right now, it's $13.98. So it's went up $2 a bag.
See, that's where we win because we're paying the same price in Canadian dollars.
Right.
I'm paying $25 for 45 pounds.
That's what $24.95. That's exactly what
And it's gone up. It was about $19.50 like 2-3 years ago.
And I think that's a good thing about Costco too, Brad, because I think it's the same price clear across Canada. It doesn't matter where you're at.
Yeah, it must be.
I don't have to check into Costco. I know you have to have a membership. I sit there and I calculate, all right, that's the only time I'm going to buy it.
Well,
and it's
if it's like Sam's Club, though, they let you get, if you get the premier membership, then you get cash back on every
money back.
So at the end of the year, you don't have to pay for your membership. You just use those reward dollars for your membership.
Exactly. I'll go through $5,000 worth of sugar, and so I mean my membership is more than paid for in the cash back.
Right.
That's what we do on our Sam's card. Renee, she works at the cafe down the road from us, so everything that we just buy for the cafe, most time we do on our Sam's card, so we get all the points and all that for it. So by the end of the year, we good.
I don't know. For here, there's a place. It's called the Restaurant Store. It's where all your commercial restaurants buy stuff. And actually, we had a a complimentary membership through our bee club. So I bought 1,500 pounds of sugar this year, which I don't know. It's I can either, I'm not sure. I would have to talk with those guys at Costco down the road here. It's a little closer, but
You might could get some sugar from them, BC, but if they're a baker, they might could get you the fondant cheap.
No, I don't like particularly. I mean, I can get fondant by 50-pound blocks, but for me, fondant's a pain in the butt. When I'm mixing sugar in the fall, I'm doing 40-gallon batches because I got a 40-gallon tank and I pump it off, and it's all about
I'll say some of the fondant too, you have to look to make sure you don't have no starch in it and all that.
Yeah, it's coloring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I get the sucrose at 2-to-1 sucrose at $12 a 5-gallon pail. So it makes 10 gallons of 1-to-1 for $12.
Well, you should just have them run a pipeline to your house.
I know. Just run a line straight to the house, or get me one of those IBC totes where they can just pump that full if my truck would handle the weight.
Well, I think you'd have to get a trailer in order to do that.
So
I mean, I have from my friend up here. He can get the what do you call it, the Man Lake stuff, the Pro Sweet. I bought a half a tote of that a couple of years ago.
That stuff's expensive though.
If you buy it by the tote, it isn't quite as bad, but it does have a nice thing when you're feeding mating boxes where they're real close to your main hives. The bees can't smell it. That's the only that's what I use it for now, but it's thick, it's hard to pump, you got to have a gear pump, and I'm like, I'm not spending any more money to do all that extra work,
Right.
I'm set up for 2-to-1 sugar water. Actually, it's a little lighter than that, and I can do 40-gallon batches and stuff. So I just do it that way. But
yeah, I'm sorry, it was $10 last time. I think it was 10. No, it was 12. It was 12.
Yeah, I think you did say it went up $2.
Yeah, it went up to 12.
Oh yeah, New Year.
Oh, woe is you.
Yeah, $12. So, I mean, it's not terrible because it's still $6 for a 5-gallon pail or something like that. By the time you split them in half. So it's definitely cheaper than buying the bagged sugar for me, anyway.
What do you do, James?
Well, that's the only option I have is the bagged sugar. I mean, I'm so far away from anywhere that would produce that. Now, one thing that I am doing, because I make a few trips every year down to southern Alberta, where the Rogers Sugar Factory is here, and been talking with them a little bit. They'll sell me the big. I don't know if you guys have seen that big grain tote. I don't know how many pounds that thing would be.
Yeah, it's a bag, right?
Yeah. So they'll sell me
I had one of those.
They'll sell me those. And I think, if I remember right, I think I can pick that bulk bag of sugar up. I think they said $545. But I mean, it's all bulk, and then of course I have to figure out how to use it. But we do have these short out at Alan, the buddy of mine that was helping me build the boxes tonight. He's got some of these little, I guess it's a feed auger they used to use for the chicken barn. And it's only about a 3-inch diameter auger, of which I could put in there and then auger that right into my tote. So I'm really looking at that because I think that'll drastically reduce my sugar costs here this year.
That auger is what I'm looking for, just to help get
the
sugar up into the.
I'll show you the last sugar mill that I worked in. We had to do an expansion for a local mill.
If I come back over again this year, Charlie, I'll make sure I bring one of those augers with you.
That was me set up down here, putting the cyclone in the top.
Nice.
The only problem with that bag is whether or not, depending on your dampness and how long you're going to leave it in there and stuff like that, it'll get hard on you like a darn, like a brick.
Like a 2,000-pound sugar cube.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the only. I mean, I had bags of sugar where, let's say they were left over from the year before, and they get like a darn brick,
Thanks, sweetie.
and then you have to take and beat it and put it in the hot water that I use.
Well, I went through more than a pallet of sugar from Costco last year, and I'm
Well, that's a
thinking that
ton, right?
I'm
You got a
thinking
ton.
that pallet must be fairly close to the same as what would be in. There's probably a little bit more in that sugar bag, but
Well, a pallet would probably be two. I think they put about 2,000 pounds on a pallet.
I should have counted the number of bags on there.
It's
I
1,200 kilograms on that pallet.
So
it's 2,400 pounds.
And I think I've only got. I'd have to go back out there. I think I've only got like 4 or 5 bags left after the season. So.
Well, that was pretty good planning to not have that much left over.
Oh, there was no planning. It was buy it while I could.
You just got lucky. You got lucky on it then.
And it was. I had no idea how much I needed. It's like, just give me the pallet. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah. That's I go through every fall is like buying 8,000 pounds of sugar. It's like, okay, I don't want a ton of this stuff left over. It's going to be a big rock by spring.
That's right.
So
I
could usually manage.
Yeah, I had that lanternfly come in and fill my boxes in the dearth, which normally I don't. I was planning on, buying extra sugar for that, and I seen that happen, so I was going to get a ton, 2,000 pounds, and so I cut it back to 1,500, and I had 5 bags left, 250 pounds, I think it was, and that was it. So it's not too bad. I usually like to run, not have anything left. So,
Here's something I was thinking about tonight, Brad. I was out there building those boxes.
And you're thinking about killing yourself?
No.
I would be.
Actually, believe it or not, we got 50 of them. Well, 54 of them built tonight.
Good for you.
So I'm about a quarter of the way there. What I was trying to think though is, how would one build a pallet to hold let's say your queen excluders, or build a pallet to hold the foamies on the top. I'm trying to think of something that will keep it uniform so it will fit on the truck.
Yep, good thinking.
Get
your welder out and just, for queen excluders, get your welder out and just make an angle iron kind of a cage.
Oh, on the 4 corners.
Yeah, it would work perfectly.
I think that's what Bob Benny does.
Yeah.
Now, Rock Ridge, which is Greg, he wants to make his sugar syrup last longer.
What does he mean by that?
Honey, be healthy.
So that it don't go bad from
health.
After it's mixed? Yeah.
That's what he means, but I've never had that problem because, I'm mixing it and I'm pumping it off onto my feeder.
I'd say they usually take it pretty quick, but if they don't, sometimes you can mix a little apple cider vinegar in it, and some people actually put a little capful or 2 of Clorox in it.
Yeah,
about a teaspoon per gallon of bleach. Unscented bleach.
Bob Benny's got a video on that about putting bleach in there, and I think he worked with somebody to show the science behind it as well. And I think, if I remember right, the Clorox bleach that he was using, I believe there was no traces of it left in there after a certain period of time. But I'd have to go back and look at that video again. But he did a complete video on that, and what basically the benefits of it were.
And I know back years ago, the Fat Bee Man talked about that. Everybody thought he was crazy, but it seemed like, it's panned out that it was true.
Experientially, I've actually had really good success.
It's true that he was crazy, or it's true that he knew what he was talking about?
Both.
He knew what he was talking about. But how much Clorox per gallons of sugar water are you putting in there, Brad?
Well, I was going to say about Clorox. What I was going to say is I don't plan to do this, but I have done in the past some Pro Health in the syrup. Now, I only ever mix 2-to-1 syrup, so I know 1-to-1 will spoil faster. But I'll tell you the truth. I don't know if you ever seen on one of my videos. I'm spraying my, I put newspaper combine and I spray it with my Pro Health mixture, sugar syrup Pro Health mixture.
Mm-hmm.
That spray bottle, that's been sitting in my building for at least 4 years with 2-to-1 and Pro Health, and it freezes every winter, and it smells just fine. My bees haven't died.
Right.
I mean, I don't feed it to them. I just use it as a pheromone mask, but I'm saying it hasn't soured.
Okay.
So there's that. And I know I have had a 5-gallon pail or two, and I'll put some Pro Health in it, and it'll sit all winter. Now, mind you, I'll set it in my unheated shed so it freezes solid.
Yeah.
But,
But it's lasting.
No, I like to say, I just never had any problem. I mean, they commonly talk about the sugar it will spoil. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if they're packing it away in the fall where I'm at, it's gone in about 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I watch my top hive feeders that I use to where when that hive gets to the point where it's not, sucking it down, then I just kind of back off and not feed them anymore until they do take it down. Or if they don't, I just pour that feeder off into another hive that is still wanting more food. And then
that situation where you either buy too much syrup or you mix too much syrup or something, and then it's, oh no, what am I going to do? That's really what it comes down to.
That's the only time I would think it would matter.
Yeah.
But now, Greg Air, he's out. I forget where he's at in Kentucky. I think he's just starting out. I know he's got some nukes. I've seen something on his channel, and starting to beehives and stuff like that. So
there's things like HMF buildup if you have a tank outside kind of thing. Like I have IBC totes, so they sit in the sun, all that kind of stuff. And I know Dr. Curry did a lot of research on this, and the gist of his research was basically if you're going to save syrup save it over the winter and feed it in the spring. And also dilution is the solution. So he's saying just take your old syrup you have, mix it in with your nice fresh syrup, and the bees will be fine. His caution was don't hold syrup over the summer and feed it to them in the fall, because of course they don't have that cleansing flight, and they have to store that for the winter. So that was really the gist of what his research showed.
Mm-hmm. I think is that one that the guy that was talking with Ian or something like that on a video, or I think he had something of that similar. He was talking about the same thing.
Yeah, quite possibly. I think they put that presentation on Ian's channel, Dr. Robert Curry.
Okay. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he did.
You know if Ian made it to Nova Scotia?
Last I heard, he was sitting in Toronto.
That's what I heard too. I sent him a message saying, "I hope your trip goes better than my last one."
I know. I haven't talked to him. I just watched his video.
He wasn't smiling. Let's put it that way.
No, we always try not to smile.
Well, guys, we're about 20 minutes past Lee's bedtime.
Yeah, that's time for me to go to.
Yeah, Tuesday night's one of the shorter nights because we got to work in the morning. So
I finished my honey.
Too early.
your honey Jack over there?
I still have honey in my ice. There you go.
I'm one empty. Make you sleep good. But I hope everybody has a good night, and thank y'all for coming again.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Lee.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, as the bee season starts up here, we'll have more actual working of the bees topics.
Yeah, mine's going to be wood shop. I got another 150 boxes to put together, and then I got to start on 2,000 frames.
How do you make really gripping content out of that though? 150 boxes.
I was trying to do that today, so I made a video I'm going to upload here on Friday, and it's like, okay, here's one.
Yeah.
Just
do that
take
200
this
more times.
Yeah, just replay this video like another 199 times for me, please.
Exactly.
What is she eating?
A bone I gave her.
I could use the views. So if you guys want to watch it 199 times after that, I would be appreciated.
That's awesome.
One video for every frame. Huh?
just put your camera on time lapse.
Yep.
There you go.
And
so, are you making your boxes from scratch?
No,
Yeah.
I bought these boxes, and
Okay.
one of the disappointing things is I'm trying to keep all of my boxes the same. So I buy my boxes either from Lewis and Sons, which are good boxes, or I've been buying my boxes from Dancing Bee. So I bought these 200 boxes last fall, with wood prices and everything going like they were. So I did ask a couple questions when I bought these boxes. Of course, here's the pallet. It's on, it's 6-7 feet high. It's all on a pallet, all the boxes there. So the two questions I asked is, are they Lewis and Sons boxes, or are they Dancing Bee boxes? And the answer I got is, yep, they're Dancing Bee boxes. All right, perfect, because they actually have a fairly good quality box. When I got them and unwrapped them, I was like, these aren't Dancing Bee, and they were like, oh, did we say Dancing Bee? We meant they're Lewis and Sons boxes. And I was still thinking, okay, well, that's great, but they're not Lewis and Son boxes either. So unfortunately, I'm having to fight with these boxes a little bit. They are the same. They are the same dimensions, which is a good thing. The handles will work with my lift. It just annoyed the hell out of me that I asked very specifically to try and keep the equipment the same and uniform. And the supplier that I got them from basically told me what I wanted to hear to make the sale. So my word advice to everybody out there is, obviously it's always buyer beware, but I did ask the questions, and unfortunately I won't buy anything more from this supplier just for this simple reason. And I'm going to need another 200 boxes next year and probably another 200 the year after that. So, he's really lost.
Yeah, it's like my friend who's a supplier. He got some stuff from Man Lake, and he had, I don't know, 200 boxes that the darn joinery would not work properly.
This isn't lining up. I'm having to grab, and I don't know how you guys do it, but when it doesn't line up, it's just a little bit off. And if you take a hammer and you whack it together, well, now you're breaking boxes or you're splitting them. So that doesn't work.
Well, he's actually he complained to his salesman or whatever it was, and they're shipping him a whole new pallet load or whatever.
Well, I tried that and they wouldn't do anything. But long story short, I just take my X-Acto knife and I run the X-Acto knife up, and then I can shave that off relatively quick and easy. But it's still a pain in the butt.
Well, sure.
Right.
That's
all
terrible.
right. I'm done. So I'll see you guys Friday night on my channel, hopefully.
Have a great birthday, man.
All right. Thank you.
Good night, Charlie.
See you, Brad. Good to see you. Good to see James, everybody else.
See you later.
All right. Good night. Yep. We got to call it. We appreciate everyone as usual. Thank you for the people that ordered off Amazon. Hey, Amazon Canada carries my swarm lure.
Nice.
Actually, I couldn't find it. I went looking for it. I couldn't find it on Amazon.ca.
I'm going.
I found it last night on it.
Okay, I'll go look again.
So it might be outrageously priced. I don't know what the shipping will look like from Canada, but hey, it should be there.
It's what is the price in US dollars?
$26.99. So it's like $41.99 Canadian.
Yeah, it's like 41,000 Canadian.
Yeah, something like that. And I have no idea what the shipping will look like.
I'm going to see if I can buy it off you online, and I'm going to see if I can pay you in pesos.
Hey, I'm in Amazon Mexico too.
There you go.
So it all works out.
Filipino pesos.
Thanks, Sarah.
There you go.
But we do appreciate it, guys. Everything you guys do for the channel and showing up consistently. Like tonight, I think we had 70 something people on at one time.
73.
73 with no Fox Plus in the room.
Plus tonight.
With no Fox Plus, so that's a good thing.
Better. And remember, next week we're gonna have 3 of them from north of the border of us.
Yep. James, Brad, and Ian, and it'll be on Lee's channel. So make sure you have liked and subscribed over there so you can get that notification. So
right on.
And write down your questions.
Yeah, have them ready.
So
I hope you're going to be there, Brad, because I won't have any answers. I'm going to rely on you and Ian.
Well, just defer to Ian.
I was going to say we're going to get left out anyways, man.
Well, last night, I mean, if you remember the last chat, Ian was asking you guys questions.
Yeah, true. I think he was just trying to see if we knew our crap.
Just testing you, huh?
He's good that way.
Well, personally, I think that Ian could probably benefit from you, James, on some of the experimentation that you're doing and stuff. We'll see how that goes.
James.
We'll see how that goes.
Well, that's what I say. A new beekeeper can learn from somebody that's experienced for 30 years, and a 30-year beekeeper can learn from a new person. I mean, there's always little tips and tricks that somebody knows that the other person don't.
Well, we'll see if I got anything alive come April, May.
Hey, hey, James, write these 3 notes down. When they're talking, just every once in a while say, "Don't you know?" And A. You can say A a few times.
Yeah.
I've already forgotten the third one. I'm not a very good coach. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
And would you
exactly?
Excuse me.
And would you like a cruller?
Yeah. I'll just make sure next week I got a fresh bottle of mead sitting beside me here, and
the other one was,
the night will be good.
There
you go. You don't say, and then you can throw an A after that for emphasis.
Actually, I've got a few questions for Ian, so that'll be great. I didn't corner him too much down at Hive Life. I actually felt kind of sorry for both him and Cayman. I mean, they didn't seem to get very far before they were cornered again. So
they get about 3 steps, and that was it.
Yep.
Can we take a selfie?
Yeah.
That took me off guard too. I'm a little beekeeper from northern Alberta, Canada. I stepped off the airplane in Atlanta, Georgia. I was picking my bag up off the carousel, and I have this woman come up to me, and she's like, "Hey, you're that beekeeper from Canada. Can I get a selfie?" And I was
beekeeper from Canada.
I was like, okay.
I'm not Ian Stepler.
That's what I should have said. Yeah, you got me confused.
Do you think
Ian.
I'm Ian Stepler?
There's only 4 of you, so you have to be famous.
Yeah.
I'll be I didn't know what to think. I was like, okay.
See, and I'm here in the States, and we had people come up to me and Lee, but I didn't feel like I was just getting blasted with people. So I like it that way.
It'll get better for us. Maybe next year
when we turn our channels off, that's when it'll get better.
I thought Lee was from Alaska for about a year. So
for a year.
Your name, Kodiak.
Oh, Kodiak. Well, I've had a couple of people ask that. Nah, that was after my dad, the old hunting cap. They called him Kodiak on CB. Because he was about 6'6", 290 pounds. Big guy. He said he looked like a big Kodiak bear.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Well, I hope everybody has a good night, and we'll see y'all Friday on Charlie's.
All right.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Night now.